From Tressel Field on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University in Berea, Ohio, it is OAC action as the Yellow Jackets of Baldwin Wallace get ready to tangle against the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern. Hi again, everybody. Adam Mendoza along with Brendan Gulick. Glad to have you along here for Baldwin Wallace football as it is the final week of the regular season. And Brendan, when you look at this game for BW, they're trying to make something out of really just not a good season this year at 2-7.
Yeah, it's been a tough year, but believe me, a win in the final day of the regular season will make the offseason a little. It hasn't been the year the Yellow Jackets had hoped for, and it's certainly not the year that they've been used to. Even in tough years for BW, they've always managed to find a way to go 5-5, 6-4 when you look at the overall record. And usually this is a very competitive conference. I think a lot of people would tell you that play all across the conference is definitely a little bit, probably a little down this year. I think that's fair to say. Unfortunately, BW's just had a tough year at 1-7 in the OAC. I think they've got a tough challenge ahead of them today in Ohio Northern.
Now, when you look at Ohio Northern at 5-4, 5-3 in the OAC, this is a team that just recently, boy, they had a fireworks show. It was like playing NFL Madden on TV. They put up 80 points against Wilmington.
Yeah, they certainly did, and I think this Ohio Northern offense is pretty much all that it's cracked up to be. I think that's a fair way to say it. They've got the top passing attack in the conference. They've also got one of the top running backs in the country, despite the fact he's a freshman. You're going to see Christian Williams get a lot of touches today. He's averaging almost 130 yards per game on the ground. He's a good young player, and next to maybe B.J. Mitchell and Mount Union and sort of the two-headed monster running back at John Carroll, this is probably the next up-and-coming running back in the conference at Ohio Northern. They've had some very competitive games, and like you said, they've also put up some big point totals, so I think offensively they're going to be fun to watch.
I can't remember in all the years of covering the Ohio Athletic Conference that you see 80 points being put up. I mean, you've seen the 60s, you've seen, somebody flirt with 70, but, when you put up 80, your offense is really clicking.
Yeah, that's only happened a couple of times that I can even remember, and on top of the fact that they scored 80 points at them, they only gave up 3, and I know that is, in some regard, it's a testament to Wilmington's program still struggling, but when you win a game 80-3, I'm not sure you look at the tape and say, well, what did we do wrong here? How do you try to do anything better than that? They are certainly coming in with some momentum.
Well, you look at Baldwin Wallace last week off a loss against Heidelberg. They've lost 4 in a row. They want to end the season on a good note, especially this being senior day.
They certainly do. They got 18 seniors, and believe me, even though it's been a tough season, it's a proud senior class. And John Snell is a veteran coach in this conference. He knows that there's going to be some games that are tough. There's going to be some games that really go your way. One of the things I really like about Coach Snell and have admired about him over the years is his ability to either flush last week if it was a bad week or a good week. He's always focused on the task at hand, and I know that that'll be the message to his team. It's like, look, we got one shot to finish the season on a good note. Let's just go out and try to take care of Ohio Northern.
Really, you're playing with house money. You just want to go out there. You want to get some of the younger guys in there. They're dressing over 100 kids today for this last game, and really, as we take a look out on the field, the whole senior class is going to be going out for the coin toss today.
Yeah, classy move for the Yellow Jackets, and one that you would probably come to expect. Baldwin Wallace is very good about taking care of their upperclassmen, so not a huge surprise.
Well, as we get ready for this matchup, and we talked about some of the key players for Ohio Northern, when you look at, for BW, Austin Smith, the last couple games, over 3 straight games of over 100 yards, finally getting a little bit of a groove as the season winds down.
Yeah, they're starting to click a little bit. We'll see how things go today. I mean, at the end of the day, how much can you really put into week by week? It's all about the individual matchups, and I think the Yellow Jackets need to come out today and just try to focus on one drive at a time.
As we said, this is the end of the regular season in the OAC. One other game that we will be keeping an eye on for you as you are watching and listening to this game is the big game down over in Alliance between John Carroll and Mount Union.
Yeah, Mount Union, obviously, they're the machine, Division III football. I thought the Yellow Jackets played a pretty good couple of quarters against Mount Union earlier this year here, but Mount is just good enough that they have struggled at times. Right now, John Carroll has a 13-0 lead over Mount Union with 4 minutes left in that first quarter.
I think we got it.
I think we had him flipped.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I may have blown your ears out on your headset. Absolute gorgeous day for football here in Berea. The colors really starting to peak here in November, and just an absolute great day for college football here in Berea.
Can't really ask for better weather at any time throughout the course of the year. I mean, talking about it being November 12th, I honestly don't see a single cloud. It's a windy day. That's not a big surprise, but temperatures will probably be in the upper 40s, maybe creep into the low 50s here at opening kick.
So as the Yellow Jackets in their home white get on the field, the Ohio Northern Polar Bears in their road black trimmed in orange, and it's going to be real interesting to see what they do coming out of the gate.
Well, it's all about game plan at this point. If you're Baldwin Wallace, the easiest drive of the game is the first one. It's the one you've drawn up all week. It's what you're going to do against the defense that you've seen. In this case, for Ohio Northern, they've got film on 9 different games against the Polar Bears. I would hope that BW comes out and they've got a lot of confidence at this point. You've seen Hudson take the leadership role now as a quarterback for more than half the season. Hopefully he comes out and is ready to have a good game.
The Polar Bears of Ohio Northern will be receiving the opening kick. Caleb Salfeld is one of those back to receive, standing back at his 5-yard line.
Yeah, he's only returned 3 kicks on the year, so it's unlikely he would take it, but we'll have to see what the Jackets have in mind. They will kick into the wind, by the way.
This game is underway. End over end kick, taken at about the 11-yard line. Right up to the 25, breaking a tackle to the 30. Nice run there on the kickback, and that is brought back by Jamison Scarborough.
Scarborough averaging more than 23 yards per kick return on the season, so not a huge surprise to see him out and going. And that might be a little early taste of the athleticism that we'll see from Ohio Northern today. You got a quarterback and a kid that really has played well this year, Will Freed, number 1 in the conference in passing yards, number 2 in touchdowns. He takes care of the football. He's only averaging less than 1 interception per game, and obviously got a freshman running back who's awfully hard to tackle.
Yeah, that is Christian Williams. He is the tailback in this formation. They go double stack I on each side. Now they'll bring the back to the right side. He'll get it, and he got tripped up by the turf monster, and the ball is loose on the turf. BW is saying that they have it, but the referee is saying it's going to be second down after a gain of 1 on the play.
Yeah, you see the Yellow Jackets come away from it in the pile. Wesley Spence popped free and showed off the football, but after the fact.
This Yellow Jacket defense last week gave up 397 yards in total offense, 140 on the ground, 257 in the air. Brings up second down and a long 9 for Ohio Northern. They'll put Williams to the left of Will Freed. He's going to look to throw, swings it over to Williams, and that shot right through his hands. Luckily, there was not a white jersey there to come up with an INT.
Nice job on the coverage on the far side of the field, although I have a feeling the way Freed moved his body around, that looked like a design play, faking to the left-hand side and then trying to dump off the screen, but he just didn't make a particularly strong pass.
First minute of the game here. Ohio Northern now facing a 3rd down and 9. Ball spotted at their own 47. 4 wide receivers set. They bring 1 in motion. That's Logan Ray. Freed looking to throw. Fires the pass. Way off the mark, as that pass was intended for Malachi Naledi. Brings up 4th down.
When Freed gets going, he doesn't lock in on any one particular target. He's done a really good job this year of spreading the ball around. Logan Ray and Reed Allen will be his top couple of targets, but Naledi, the target on that play, has almost got 400 receiving yards on the season. Several different players have caught touchdown passes this year for Ohio Northern.
Wagner is back to receive the punt. Nice angle. Trip Washington calling for the fair catch at the 10-yard line, and that is where BW gets pinned back there on a very nice kick there by Kyle Bergman, who is averaging 39 yards a kick and has 12 or 11 inside the 20.
I have to admit, I am keeping a very close eye on a John Carroll Mount Union game right now. The John Carroll Blue Streaks have forced 3 Mount Union punts in the first quarter, and they are outgaining the Purple Raiders in Alliance, 157 yards to 14. The Blue Streaks have already scored 2 touchdowns. Right now, John Carroll looks awfully good on the road.
Right here, Baldwin Wallace on their first possession of the football game. Jake Hudson, the quarterback, is going to look to throw, steps up in the pocket. Now he's forced to run. He'll get a yard on the play as he gets to the 11-yard line. And on the tackle is number 42. That's Zach Marinoff.
Just to wrap up one quick thought, I don't want to take too much away from this game, but believe me, anybody in the conference who's playing Mount Union on any given week, every other team in the conference is rooting for. Everybody wants Goliath to get knocked off. 2nd
down and 8 after a gain of 2 on the play. 13:20 to go here in quarter number 1. And they hand the ball off to Smith, and boy, he just got smothered by Zach Smurge out of Wapakoneta. Comes in to make the tackle, but they'll call it maybe no gain on the play.
Yeah, Smurge has had a really nice season as a linebacker. We'll have to see if what the BW offense wants to do with him, because most of the time when you run up the middle, he's going to swallow you up, leading the defense with 83 tackles on the year.
3rd down efficiency for BW, 49%. That's 2nd in the OAC. 3rd down and 7 for the Yellow Jackets.
And they actually had a game against Otterbein a couple weeks ago where they went 14 of 17 3rd down conversions in the first half alone. So wow. BW's done that very well.
Now Hudson looking to throw, fires the pass through the hands. Good coverage, as that pass was intended for Ty Gallo, and it brings in the punting unit. You're talking about BW's success on third down. Those are some great numbers. I was fortunate to work a game last night where Stowe had those kind of similar numbers on third down conversions.
And what underratedly helps your third down conversion rate is what you do on first down. You pick up 5 to 7 yards on a first down, more often than not, you're going to be able to move the sticks. But if you throw an incomplete pass or you have a 1-yard gain, that's not going to help you too much.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you have movement on that first and second down, as Austin Smith's kick is up, and the fair catch just making that one for Ohio Northern was Chad Rex. But Ohio Northern now sitting in pretty good position on the BW side of the field at the 49-yard line.
Yeah, it's awfully good starting field position for a dangerous offense for the Polar Bears.
Well, the Polar Bears went out on their first possession. This is their second possession of the game. And for Ohio Northern, they're averaging 253 yards a game passing the football. Will Freed, the sophomore out of Carlsbad, California, in the shotgun formation with 3 receivers to the left.
Pretty sure it's a delay of game call coming.
Too much time on the clock, delay a game. That'll push Ohio Northern back 5, and that's going to make the coaching staff not too happy.
For what it's worth, you mentioned Will Freed, the only OAC quarterback who is in the top 50 in Division III in passing yards. He really has had a nice season.
21 touchdowns on the year, 3 receivers to the far side of the field. Free getting the pass off at the 45 down to the 42. Malachi Naletti once again coming in on the catch. A simple route right there.
Well, and that's been a lot of his success this year. He's got a strong arm and can throw the ball in those 15 to 25-yard windows, but you're going to see a lot more of the bubble screens and the quick slants, the 5 to 7-yard outs toward the sideline, because he's got a really athletic group of wide receivers.
Pick up a 5, second down and 5 now. They'll go with 2 wide receivers to the left, 2 on the near side with Christian Williams in the backfield. He'll get the handoff, finds a little bit of a hole to the 40, fighting his way to the 35, and he picks up the first down as he picks up about 9 yards on the play. And boy, that hole was opened up front. Will Rankin and Nate Jones for Ohio Northern opening the hole.
Sharkim Bonaparte, one of a couple of Yellow Jackets there to wrap up the young Mr. Williams.
11:30 remaining in this first quarter of play. No score, 1st and 10 at the 35 for Ohio Northern. Freed on the handoff, nope, play action, and that was batted right down at the line of scrimmage. Damon Bowler was right there, kind of hoping that he might have been able to get an interception off that, because he really got his hands on the ball.
Well, Will Freed definitely didn't fool him. There's no doubt about that. A lot of times, as we mentioned, Freed's going to look for those quick passes. And as a defensive end, it won't take you very long to learn, hey, as soon as the ball snapped, take those 2 hard steps cutting toward the quarterback and then put the arms up.
Trips to the left now for the Ohio Northern Polar Bears. On 2nd and 10. They'll move Williams to the left. He'll get the handoff, and boy, he was just met up right at the line of scrimmage. Nothing going there. Wesley Spence coming in to make the stop for the Yellow Jackets.
You know, Spence is not a particularly big guy, but boy, is he physical up on that front line.
6 foot, 215 pounds, the sophomore out of North Canton Hoover. Technique. That's the big key on that defensive side of the line, is technique.
No doubt.
That's why for a number of years, coaches always loved having wrestlers on that defensive side of the line. Timeout is going to be called by the Yellow Jackets with 10:48 to go here in quarter number 1. No score between BW and Ohio Northern. Today's Yellow Jacket football game is being brought to you by Dan Andrews and Olympic Forest Products, a global recycling company. Also, today's game is being brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call us in Berea at 440-891-0030 or go online at domino's.com.
Brought to you by the Oreo Cafe, a great place for sports. Located at 294 North Rocky River Drive, just up the street here from campus. Finally, by the Oswald the Oswald Companies and Hoffman Group. They'll handle all of your insurance and risk management needs.
10:48 remaining in quarter number one. No score here between Baldwin Wallace and Ohio Northern. Right now, I think the Polar Bears are just trying to get their footing straight with the passing game.
BW's defense has come out ready to play.
H-back to the left, pistol formation. Now they'll move Williams to the left. It's going to be Freed looking to throw, firing a pass. Got caught up, and we're going to have a pass interference call on BW. Howard Dover on the coverage.
I think the technical call will be defensive holding, but you're right, he definitely grabbed him. It's hard to tell at first how much of that was a penalty and how much of that might have been miscommunication on the route, because no matter where no matter where Noletti ran to, the ball really wasn't thrown anywhere in his vicinity. It was a solid 15 yards over his head.
So the official still so that'll move the football inside the 25-yard line. They'll mark it at the 24. And it brings up a fresh set of downs for Ohio Northern. We talk about Christian Williams coming into this game averaging 129 yards a game. Can really run the football. Haven't seen much of him. They put him in check right now early on. On 1st and 10, they give it to Williams. Bounces to the outside, to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, looking for the pylon, and is driven out of bounds at the 2. Boy, just when I'm talking about that, there he goes and explodes for a big run.
I mean, he hesitated just a little bit as he tried to both secure the football between his hands and lurch himself into that dive, and he just couldn't do it while staying in bounds. He nearly had 6.
So it brings up 1st and goal to go at the 2 for Ohio Northern. H-back to the right. They'll move Williams to the right side. He'll get the football, flag thrown, bounces to the outside. He scores, but let us see with the penalty.
Ohio Northern bringing the special teams unit on. They seem to think it's a defensive penalty.
And it is offsides.
So Williams strikes for his 12th offensive touchdown of the year. The Ohio Northern Polar Bears take an early lead.
10:08 remaining in the first quarter of play. Very nice drive by Ohio Northern. It was also helped by a couple of BW penalties.
And remember, it started on the BW side of midfield as well.
Kick is away, and that one is up and good. 7-0. Ohio Northern with the lead early on in this game, as Christian Williams comes in and scores the touchdown.
Mentioned it was his 12th rushing touchdown, but 13th total touchdown for him on the season. He did have 1 receiving. I'll tell you what, I don't know if D3Football.com or any other national publication would put together a freshman All-American roster, but you have to imagine that Christian Williams is going to be really jumping onto people's radar here moving forward. On top of the fact that he is at the kind of school, I think, or at least the kind of program where he can really be successful, he's putting up those kind of numbers. But he just seems to fit that mold of Ohio Northern football really well.
Yeah, out of Anna High School, and he is just at 5'11", 210. I'm sure he has a little bit more growing room remaining.
A scoring update from the de facto conference championship game today. 11:40 left in the second quarter. John Carroll is punching Mount Union in the mouth. It's 13-0, and the Blue Streaks have outgained Mount Union 192 yards to 12. Mount Union's punted 5 times in the first half. I wonder if they've punted 5 times all year.
Yeah, that's a rarity for the Purple Raiders.
My goodness.
So as BW gets ready to receive the kick, it'll be Greer on the run, out to the 30 or 25, 26, and on that scoring drive.
7 plays, 49 yards, 2:19 off the clock, and Williams punched it in.
Big key now for BW is to at least get a first down. Right now, Ohio Northern with 3 in the game.
Again, yeah, they got to answer. They got to do something here to feel good about. Remember, they'll have the football to start the second half, so a 1-score deficit heck, we're 5 minutes into the game. Not a big deal, but time to get things going.
Jake Hudson, the quarterback out of East Lake, Florida, looks over the defense, has receivers on the near side. Little toss sweep to the near side. Nice run out to the 40-yard line. Ian Mitchell.
I believe it's Yvonne Mitchell there on the carry. Again,
he wasn't slotted to start.
Yeah, well, and again, just a reminder, because Baldwin Wallace has dressed everybody today. There's a lot of double numbers, so it was either Ivan Mitchell or Kenneth Henderson, who both listed as wide receivers. Not entirely sure, but there is a injured polar bear on the field at the moment.
It's a pickup of first down for the Yellow Jackets. And the good thing is the player that was injured, number 23, that's Dan Eller, the strong safety out of Medina, is able to walk off on his own power.
Eller's been a good player for them for a couple of years.
Leads the team with 80 tackles on the season.
Yeah, he's really done. He and Smurge, right in the middle. Those two players have really done a nice job for the Polar Bears.
So after the injury, 9:50 remaining in the first quarter. Ohio Northern up 7-0. Yellow Jackets with a first down. They'll have 3 wide receivers and an H-back to the right-hand side. Hudson gets the snap. Smith up the middle, follows a block. Gets to the 48-yard line. They'll mark him at the 49. A pickup of 6 on the play.
Not a surprise to see the Jackets go no huddle here.
And tempo. Getting that high tempo. They give it to Smith again. Cuts over the 50. Was trying to get to the 49. Forward progress gets him to about the 48-yard line. Boy, BW keeping up fast. Third and 2. Boy, they're really moving it up, and now they're going to give it to Smith again. And he just got leveled at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that play took a little bit longer to develop than the prior one, and they snapped it 13 seconds after the tackle. They are really trying to get moving quickly.
8:40 remaining, and now stoppage in play, and that's from the referee. And that's going to kill that tempo movement by BW.
You know, it might sound a little silly to say this, but truly I think it's important, and I'm honestly a little surprised they're measuring it. Looks like this is short by almost a full yard. Anyways, one of the problems for the Jackets offensively this year is that they haven't done a lot of sustaining long drives, and several times when they've put together nice long drives, they haven't capitalized. They haven't put it in the end zone. That's why when you look at the record and you say, well, man, it's sure disappointing to only have one conference win. As you see, that ball is well short of the first down. That's sort of been their bugaboo. They've got to be able to convert and get into the end zone when they have longer drives. A reminder here, too, by the way, their punter, Austin Smith, most of the season has also been their running back. So you never know what's going to happen here.
4th down and 1. The Yellow Jackets are going to go for it. And it's going to be a run out of the formation. First down.
Anthony Jackson came in to run that. They just went right to the Wildcat and said, okay, you know what, at this point in the year, what the heck? We got nothing to lose. Let's go out and try to move the sticks.
And that they do. And now they bring back Jake Hudson. 8:20 to go in this first quarter of play. Yellow Jackets on the move in Ohio Northern Territory at their own 45. Hudson out of the shotgun. 3 receivers on the pattern, going on a 1 single coverage, and that catch is made on the near sidelines at about the 10-yard line by Mike Wagoner out of Stowe.
34-yard strike. Wagoner goes up and grabs it. Nicely done.
The ball will be spotted at the 11-yard line. Single coverage, and once again, BW going up-tempo. Hudson's going to run it, gets a block at the 10 to the 5, looks for the corner, and he dives in for a touchdown. Boy, the quick tempo for Coach John Snell gets the Yellow Jackets back on the board. They're down by an extra point, 7-6, with 7:53 remaining in the first quarter of play.
Made a fourth down conversion that can really spark an offense. You got a team that's got nothing to lose. They've gone out and just kept on pounding. And when you convert on fourth down on your home field, get some things going, 2 big plays later, you're in the end zone.
Simonis getting ready for the extra point, and this game is tied at 7 with 7:53 remaining in the first quarter. And you gotta like this drive, Brennan, by the Yellow Jackets going that up tempo.
They've done that several times throughout the course of the season. The one thing you have to make sure when you go to that kind of offense, you're obviously not bringing substitutions onto the field, so you've got to feel really confident with the group you've got out there, and you have to like the matchups you have with whomever Ohio Northern has out on defense, because if you're not subbing, they're not going to have time to bring anybody in. If you do change personnel, you can't run that tempo until the defense has finished their substitution as well. So there's a lot more that goes into that than just saying, okay, we're going to go after it with this kind of tempo. You got to look at it from different angles. But as you can see, it's been effective.
And you were talking about answering the call of the touchdown by Ohio Northern, and BW was able to do that.
Yeah, good long drive. I mean, they got a decent return from Greer, but they marched all the way down the field. They converted on fourth down. They hit one nice 34-yard pass play, and then Hudson was able to find the end zone. So that was a good drive for the Yellow Jackets. We'll see if they can keep some of that momentum.
And the end over and kickoff will be taken by Ryan Love, or make that Jason Scarber, and he gets upended at about the 18-yard line. And boy, the Yellow Jackets are feeling pretty good right now, a confident group out there.
Well, the defense needs to keep that momentum right now. I know I've used that word a couple of different times, but it's important now after the offense just made a nice drive down the field. The defense can come up with a nice stop, and things might really swing their way. Boy, every single time I check the John Carroll Mount Union score, it looks like Mount Union punts again. They've had 6 punts, and they're midway through the second quarter. I mean, they got to be approaching like a school record, and I'm not kidding.
No, you're right. Will Freed out of the gun. Reed Allen in motion, and then they hand the ball off. Or that's Will Freed running it. He'll pick up a yard or two.
Still 13-0 John Carroll. Look, even if Mount Union loses that game, which it is still a long way from being at that point, the strength of schedule for OAC teams this year has been so low that while it's not a guarantee that a team would get in, a second team from this conference, nobody on the national side is going to leave Mount Union out if they lose. If John Carroll loses that game, I think they've got a very difficult road to try and get in the playoffs.
On the pass to the far side, they get it to the tight end, Logan Ray out of Van Wert, the 6'6", 240 senior, comes up with the catch. That's his 29th of the season.
And a lot of people thought these were the next 2 best teams in the conference this year. Yeah. Ohio Northern received a ton of votes in the preseason. They played Mount really well. They played John Carroll very well. Ohio Northern's a good team. Baldwin Wallace probably played John Carroll as close as anybody this year back in week 2. Baldwin Wallace had a 10-7 lead over their rival going into the fourth quarter.
And then John Carroll was able to come back and win that one. 3rd down and 5 for Ohio Northern. 3 receivers. They'll go 5 with an empty backfield. Freed steps up, gets the pass off. It is caught by Reed Allen. Forward progress will get him to about the 33-yard line.
Good composure there in the backfield by Freed. He really felt some pressure. Almost had a defender grab him around the shoulder pads, but he stepped up in the pocket and delivered a good pass to his favorite target, Reed Allen.
Game tied at 7, 6:35 remaining in the first quarter. Ohio Northern with the football. That time they went empty backfield. They'll have 4 receivers out on the pattern. 3 to the left with an H-back. Christian Williams now. Dotting that I, now moves to the left. Now they'll move him back to the right. Inside shovel pass. They get it off to Logan Ray. He'll pick up a few yards as he gets to the 38. 5 on the pickup. Slow, methodical movement right now by Ohio Northern. Ray's been a factor on this drive out of that H-back position. Now they get it to Christian Williams. He bounces to the outside at the 40. And a very good tackle being made by Brock Hull out of Boardman, the senior.
Yeah, that all happened, though, because of the right tackle, Kyle Gunnerman. He did a tremendous job sealing the edge and freeing up a good extra couple of yards for Williams. He basically just turned his shoulders inside, and Wesley Spence had no chance to come over and catch up to the play.
Wilfried 1 of 5 passing for 11 yards, and they'll hand the ball off up the middle to Williams. He'll pick up the first down as he gets to the 46-yard line. That is the 6th carry for Williams, 40 yards on the day. Clock reading 5 minutes.
Baldwin Wallace's rush defense this year at times has been good, but it all comes down to what kind of leverage they can generate on the on their defensive line. And right now, Ohio Northern's moving the line of scrimmage a little bit.
They give up 197 yards on the ground this year. Once again, Williams stops on a dime, cuts up at the field. He'll get to the 50, to the BW 49-yard line. And another nice pickup of 7 yards.
And while they do, the numbers are what they are at this point in the year. You've played 9 games. Some of that is a little bit kind of jaded by the fact that Mount Union primarily ran the ball. They had a big running day. Otterbein had a really big running day. And Capital runs that triple option offense. So most of the teams in the conference are going to be a little bit jaded because those teams run the ball so well.
2nd down and 3 now for Ohio Northern. A lot of movement there by the defensive backs as they give it to Williams again as he's trying to just slice his way back, and he gets to the 47-yard line. He'll pick up 2 on the play. He'll be short a yard for the first down marker.
Yeah, but you're seeing a lot of confidence right now in a freshman running back. And it's probably safe to say at this point in the year when you've played 10 games, you're not really a freshman anymore. Williams has rushed for more than 100 yards in all of his games this season. He's already in the top 10 all-time in Ohio Northern record books for 100-yard rushing games. They don't mind giving the ball to this kid over and over again. He's a big workhorse.
5'11", 210 pounds, the freshman. He'll be to the left of Wilfried. He'll get the handoff. Slices his way for a first down as he crosses the 45 to the 44 on a 3-yard pickup.
Well, it seems like our live stats aren't updating quite as quickly as maybe the game is progressing along, but Williams has to be at this point now more than 50 yards on the ground here in the late first quarter.
1st and 10 at the BW 44. He's been toting the football. Flag is thrown. He'll get the swing pass. He'll get driven out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. Sam Groff out of Sandy Valley, the junior, coming in to make the stop. And the penalty will go against BW, or I'm sorry, against Ohio Northern. Offside is the call. One of the few hiccups for Ohio Northern this afternoon as this game is tied at 7.
That's the kind of penalty offensively that is going to drive you crazy. There's just no excuse on the offensive side for lining up offsides. Can't do that.
Ohio Northern will send 2 receivers to the left in a stack I. Williams, the lone setback. Play action. Right up the middle, caught and dropped for a loss on a very nice play defensively being made by BW.
Anton Richardson, he basically stayed home. The defensive tackle said, fine, you've flicked that screen off a couple of times. I'm not going to come rush you quite as hard. And he was all over running back Christian Williams. Huge loss.
Now brings up 2nd down and 19 for Ohio Northern. This drive was showing some promise, but a penalty and now the loss of the tackle for the loss really putting Ohio Northern in a bind. Just under 2 minutes left in the first as another heavy rush for Freed. Throws the football. It is caught near the 40-yard line on the catch by Reed Allen. 6-1.
We talked about the Yellow Jackets defensive line needing to play well, and they're starting to create a lot of pressure for Freed. so far, for the most part, he's delivered the ball accurately. But Ohio Northern better continue to put together these short, quick passing routes, because it's not like Freed has a whole bunch of time to find somebody open.
12 yards on the pickup. 4 wide out set for Ohio Northern with 1:12 remaining in quarter number 1. Freed stepping back, looks over, steps up in the pocket against heavy rush, fires the pass, incomplete.
Now that's a great play by Freed. Even though it was an incomplete pass, his check down was the screen to the left, which the Jackets covered perfectly. And as he stepped up in the pocket running to his right, he looked over his left shoulder to check the yard line and make sure that he didn't complete or attempt an illegal forward pass. Then he put it in a spot where only his guy was going to be able to catch it, if anybody. So, yeah, an incomplete pass, but for the Polar Bears, they'll live with that. Not a bad play at all.
Bergman getting ready to punt the football. Trip Washington back to receive, standing at his 10. Good snap. Gets the kick away. Fair catch is dropped and picked up by Ohio Northern inside the 5. Washington called for the fair catch. It went right through his arms and right into the hands of a Polar Bear, and he picks up the football. They're going to say at the 9.
Wow.
That's like a long completed pass.
It essentially goes back to, those are the little things in a game when your record is 2-7 on the season and you've only won 1 game in conference. Those are the kinds of things that really cost you. It was simple mechanics, and maybe the wind played with it a little bit, but you just can't catch a punt with your arms extended. You got to bring those in and catch it against your chest.
And first and goal to go now for Ohio Northern inside the 10 to the 9. They're going to give it to Williams. Nope, it's a play action as Freed looks, fires, incompleted pass, and a lot of yellow flags strewn all over the field.
I think there's 2 separate penalties, because the first one thrown in the backfield came early. The second one was from the back judge looking into the end zone. So we may have offsetting penalties here. So that second flag was actually an ineligible man downfield. They will decline that but accept the holding penalty. And the Polar Bears have first and goal from now an awfully long way back. All the way back to the 20-yard line. Checked at the 19.
46 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Game tied at 7. This hasn't been the prettiest of drives for Ohio Northern. They were fortunate to get the muff punt at the 9-yard line. Now first and goal at the 19. Freed looking to throw, pumps, goes for the corner, has a receiver open. Beautifully tossed ball as he strikes it over to his receiver on that far side.
Reed Allen grabs his 6th touchdown of the year, leads the team in receiving touchdowns. And the Polar Bears take advantage of a big mistake.
Well, he threw that ball nicely into the corner.
Yeah, he sure did. It's almost like the 10-yard penalty helped him.
It gave him a little more space. As they get ready for the extra point, that one's drilled right through. 14-7 now. We have to see if BW can answer the call again after the touchdown scored by Ohio Northern.
See John Snell walking out on the field at around the 40-yard line, coming back to the sideline. He's pretty fired up. You could hear him yelling, "Let's go, let's go." I'm sure it was not part of the game plan to have a costly turnover in that spot, but game's filled with adversity, and I'll tell you what, this game's actually moving along at a very slow pace. We're still in the late first quarter. You would think BW's drive would extend past the 39 seconds remaining in the quarter, but there's still a whole lot of game ahead for the Yellow Jackets. And look, they put together a really nice offensive drive. So while the defense came up with their big stop and the special teams let them down, you got to just flush the last few minutes of this game and go out and put something together offensively. And if you're Trip Washington, who is going to be one of the 2 deep men to return, take it upon yourself, a little pride, and go out there and make a play.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to make up for the mistake, and what's a better way? Coming back and getting a nice run back. But you saw after that muffed punt that the air just kind of went out of the sails of the BW sideline. Right now, they just need a nice return, get some decent starting field position, because the offense in their last possession was able to move the football very well.
Yeah, they sure did, especially when they went to that tempo.
Washington and Greer back to receive the kick. It'll be Washington getting it at the 5. Up the middle to the 10, to the 25. Boy, great open field tackle being made by Jack Bauer. Boy, he shot through there real quick to make the stop.
Yeah, he sure did.
33 seconds remaining in quarter number 1. Ohio Northern leading it 14-7. Let's see what Jake Hudson and company can do. Hudson out of the shotgun with 2 receivers on either side, both stacked. Handoff is to Smith. Had the hole, but it closed up very quickly. Jason Lucas, the free safety out of North Ridgeville, making the tackle. Boy, that hole was opened up. And then once he got to it, it just shut down on him.
Yeah, that's why Ohio Northern is known as one of the tougher teams to run on all across the conference. That second level of their defense stays in their zones very quickly. Jackets don't have to run a play here if they don't want to.
Smith picking up 2 yards on the play, and that's going to be it for the first quarter. After 1, Ohio Northern leads it over Baldwin Wallace, 14-7.
And while we have a quick second to give you an update, Mount Union on 4th and 1 just ran in a quarterback sneak from 25 yards out. They just scored for the first time all game. They did it on 4th and 1 with 38 seconds left to go in the second quarter, and they just kicked the extra point. So John Carroll leads Mount Union 13-7 right at the very end of that first half. And again, what is the de facto conference title game just happened to be again this year. You got the top 2 teams in the conference playing each other in Week 10 for the conference crown.
Well, today's Yellow Jacket game is being brought to you by the Ohio Education Credit Union. Gain the advantage. The Ohio Education Credit Union offers convenience, trust, and value. Build your future today. Also by Medical Mutual of Ohio. Medical Mutual is a healthcare provider of Baldwin Wallace University. And today's game is also brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Division, the healthcare provider for BW Athletics.
Not a bad first quarter for the Jackets. I think they put together a nice offensive drive. I think they would do themselves a huge favor here by getting the offense going again, because Ohio Northern's taking control of the game once more.
Well, let's see what they can do if they can answer the call once again. Brett Zapancic comes out of the slot. Now they'll go an offset eye for Hudson. And a handoff to Smith. He'll get it over the 30 to the 32-yard line. Third down and 2, just starting this second quarter of play. Jake Hudson can also run the ball, averaging 5.5 yards a carry this year. And the handoff is to Austin Smith. He'll fight his way for the first down as he gets it to the 37-yard line. That'll move the chains. You know, when you look at the local talent of high school football players in Northeast Ohio and how they just gravitate to the Division III schools, just so much good talent being played in the OAC from the local kids.
You're right, and there's a ton of it on this field today in particular.
1st and 10 after the pickup by the Yellow Jackets. Play action. Hudson looks, fires. And we're going to have pass interference, as that pass was intended by Ty Gallo, and the guilty party that time for Ohio Northern was John Lucas. And boy, everybody saw that one.
Yeah, it was a pretty easy call. Definitely turned him too early.
Or Jason Lucas.
Polar Bears by a score, but the Jackets on the move.
and they're getting help by these penalties. You got to take advantage as much as you can right now.
How many times as a coach do you say, hey, we don't want to beat ourselves? And both of these two teams right now have made some costly mistakes.
Sapancic, your tight end, on the near side. They'll move Smith to the left of Hudson out of the shotgun. On 1st and 10 from the 50. Pass fired. Nice catch being made right there on that far side by Chad Steinwachs. Out of Buffalo, the sophomore, his 12th catch of the year.
I'd be willing to bet you that 10 of his 12 catches have come on third downs. For whatever reason, he comes in an awful lot on third down plays, and he always seems to be the primary target. A very reliable guy.
And a big target at 6'3". Pickup of 7 on the play. 2nd down and 3 at the Ohio Northern 43. Hudson, play action again. Looks, steps, fires, has a receiver coming back for the ball. Goes incomplete as that pass was intended for Tyler Wolf, but good defensive coverage at the last moment to knock it down.
Yeah, Lucas, who just committed the pass interference penalty, redeemed himself there by negating the long ball. He was hip for hip, though. Truth be told, the ball's a little underthrown.
No huddle once again by BW. On 3rd and 3. Yellow Jackets on the year, 49% on 3rd down conversions. Long count. Smith, left side, nothing going right there. They're going to give him a couple of yards, but he'll be a yard shy of the 1st down marker. Mike Cunningham coming in, former teammates out of North Royalton. Quickly again, Hudson barrels his way over the 40-yard line, and still no indication on the 1st down as they look to spot the football. Boy, Coach Dean Paul not happy on that far sideline. It looks like they're going to call for a measurement. I don't think they may have it. Or are they calling it 1st down? Well, you got both teams going to their respective sidelines, and the officials getting the measurement.
It's going to be close.
Wow. It looked like the spot should have been at about the 40.
I was thinking the same thing. BW may have gotten a tough spot there.
Because they went with Hudson underneath center for that quick snap, and they did not get a favorable spot from the officials. So with 12:44 remaining in quarter number 2, Ohio Northern takes over as they stop the Yellow Jackets on a 4th and 1. Let's see if Will Freed and company can answer the call. Ball spotted at the 40. Looking to throw on a play action, steps up with heavy pressure. He's gonna go down, and another good play, good defensive pressure being put on by the Yellow Jackets. And that time, that was Ryan Sosich. We've talked about the pressure being put on by the front line of BW. They're getting pressure on Will Freed.
Yeah, the first couple drives, they weren't really finding ways into the backfield, but I wonder what the difference is. They have found ways to beat the offensive linemen a lot lately.
There's a little swing pass off to the near side. It goes incomplete. They were trying to get that to Reed Allen.
You can almost see Freed and Christian Williams talking to each other in the backfield. Realize Williams has had a nice day so far, and as soon as we get some updated numbers, we'll share those with you. But he hasn't played as big a role over the last probably 10 offensive plays. They need to get him going, but they're certainly not going to hand the ball off to him on 3rd and 14, at least not often. Maybe once in a while you might try to run a draw to catch a defense napping, but I don't know if that's the right play call here for the Bears.
You may look for Logan Ray at 6'6". He's on that far side, set on the slot. As Freed looking to throw. Heavy rush again. He is going to go down for a sack once again. Damon Bowler coming in, and we've got a late flag thrown.
Well, that may go against the Jackets. Bonaparte kind of shoved an offensive lineman last minute, and his teammates are not going to be happy with him after the play was over, by the way, or at least essentially over. If that becomes an automatic 1st down, Yeah, see, you just can't do that. There's no excuse for that.
Yeah,
They had him stopped. It was 4th and 14. And it becomes an automatic first down. It's a lack of discipline. You just can't do that. John Snell is hot on the sideline. Bonaparte checks out. I mean to single anybody out individually, but
well, when you
just can't make that kind of a mistake.
Yeah, when you get the sack and you really force their hand, and then you get that bonehead play, that's just not a good thing, and it gives new life to Ohio Northern as they're sitting at the 49 of BW with a first down.
You can't give that kind of an offense those breaks.
Not second chances. They've already had it once, and they put points on the board. As Freed picks that one close off the turf, throws the pass. It is caught by, or incompleted pass as they were looking for Brendan Hadley.
Hit him right in the hands. Just didn't bring it in. You know, when Freed has had time to throw, he's typically delivered a pretty good ball. But the Jackets, as you mentioned, are creating some more pressure, and it's been more challenging for him to get those good looks off because he's got to throw so quickly.
And that one was a low snap that he had to really get it off his shoe tops. 2nd and 10 now for the Ohio Northern squad. Williams running right side, big hole as he picks up the first down, goes into the secondary, and bear crawls his way to the 28-yard line.
Yeah, you never really want to have no gain on first down, but it was just sitting on the front of your mind like, you've got a kid that runs for 130 yards a game and has had a good first half. Give him the football.
Yeah.
And he found a hole on the right side. It seems like the Polar Bears have gotten away from the better part of their game right now. Wouldn't be surprised now to see Williams get a couple touches here late in this drive.
He is to the left behind Will Freed. And he's going to get the football again. Big hole once again as he rushes to the 20-yard line. And he'll pick up 9 yards. And just like you said, go with the guy that's been taking you here all year.
Well, and remember, too, those first couple drives where they scored, how much of the success of those drives was predicated off the play action? When you're not running the ball effectively, it takes the play action out of the equation. So reestablish your run game. And
they have reestablished a run game on the last couple of plays. Now, let's see if they run that play action. 2nd down and 2. H back to the right. Quick hitter. Good block on the open field at the 20, and a good open field tackle being made by Jacob Boyd.
Yeah, Boyd came right up, and you know, on top of the fact that he saved a first down, he comes up from that safety spot and just wrapped him up nicely.
3rd and a yard to go for Ohio Northern. They're up 14-7.
Best numbers we can give you is that Williams has 11 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown.
He is to the left. He'll get the handoff. Ball is fumbled, and Will Freed was able to pound on it at the 22-yard line. Mishandled on the handoff. Could have been disastrous for Ohio Northern. And that'll bring out the kicking unit.
Well, Joe French has hit 12 out of 15 field goals this year. We'll see what he's got in store.
Ball will be spotted at the 29. It'll be a 39-yard field goal. He's 4 of 5 from that range. Good snap to set. The kick is blocked as it was low. Wow. He kicked that at the line of scrimmage, and the Yellow Jackets come up with a huge break.
Sam Groff got the hand on it, but don't discount what they did up front. It was the original push. Baldwin Wallace is winning the battle at the line of scrimmage right now, and Ohio Northern, even though they've got a 7-point lead, I imagine the Polar Bears are feeling a little bit snake bit. It's up to the offense now for the Jackets to make them pay for it.
Well, let's see if the Yellow Jackets can get some ball movement right now. 1st and 10. They'll have the ball at their own 27-yard line as they split 3 wide receivers to the far left side. Hudson from the gun. He's going to look to pass. On the far side, Trevor George comes up with it. And the catch is made, about a 6-yard pickup on the play.
Still a ton of time left in this half. You've got less than 9 minutes for BW. If you're going to run tempo, that's by choice, not because they have to.
Now he throws Flag thrown. Ball is incomplete, almost intercepted, but we've got a flag thrown in the backfield.
Well, we've called his name several times. Jason Lucas had the bad pass interference call, but he made a beautiful deflection down deep in their own territory, and he almost came up with an excellent diving catch there. He was out of bounds, and it's too bad for him because had he picked that off, it would have been Polar Bear football. The penalty was on Baldwin Wallace, so BW backs up 10 yards instead.
So 2nd down and 15 after the penalty.
It kind of feels like Hudson's running for his life a lot too.
Yeah, he was flushed out of the pocket. He'll have 3 receivers on this near side. Ball spotted at the 22. On the handoff.
Well, it was a design
run, yeah.
keeper. He barely got back to the line of scrimmage. I don't mind the play call. I just don't know if I like it in that situation on 2nd and 15.
Gain of, luckily, if anything, on that one.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Hudson right now is, even though he's been mobile at him, most of it's been to the outside because nothing's opening up in that middle. Ohio Northern's defense is tough to move around.
3rd down and 15 at the 22.
Oh, great pickup.
Heavy pressure. And once again, loss of yardage on the play. Devin Johnson coming in, and you talked about Austin Smith. He picked up the block on the far side, but there was just too much pressure.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. Austin Smith did his job very well. He sealed off that outside edge. Right now, the offensive line's just not getting it done for the Jackets, and that's frustrating because they had a chance there to really make Ohio Northern pay. Instead, the drive lasts a minute.
And Austin Smith back at his 5-yard line to punt the football away. Getting a good snap. Oh, boy. And he hits this one off the side of the foot. It'll get a BW roll to the 50. And continue to roll to the 46-yard line of Ohio Northern.
Back on the conference championship game side of things, John Carroll and Mount Union have just started the 3rd quarter. The Blue Streaks have the football first. That game is being played in Mount Union. But again, just to give you an idea, Adam, how defensive that game has been, those two teams have punted the ball 13 times. John Carroll's first touchdown run was an 80-yard score on their first play from scrimmage. Other than that, it's been a pretty defensive game. Mount Union's only really good drive was their last drive of the half. So we'll see which of those two teams comes out with the second half momentum. And we'll give you an update around the rest of the conference at halftime of this game.
And that catch is made by Riley Brandstetter. They'll pick up 7 yards on the play.
Yeah, those are the kinds of first down gains that really set you up for success. Get 7 yards on 1st and 10. You're going to be in good shape.
Gives you just that 2nd and short yardage situation, which really opens up the playbook. You could either go run or pass on this. Now a lot of movement as they try to set up that offensive formation. Williams running it, big first down.
That's a great call by Freed on the read option. He picked the defensive end, wanted to see where he collapsed down to, and once he read him perfectly, he handed the ball off to Williams, and Williams had a ton of room. It just very well read. That's just flat out well executed by Freed. You got one spot you're looking for on the field in that play.
Ball spotted at the 36. 3-by-1 set, and it's Williams again getting pushed to the outside. He'll still pick up a couple of yards on the play.
It doesn't really matter which way Ohio Northern's been going, whether it was the 1st or 2nd quarter. And it doesn't seem to matter whether or not it's the short side or the wide side of the field. I feel like we've seen Williams run to his right way more often than we've seen him run to the left. For whatever reason. I don't know if that's just the play call design that Ohio Northern's had today or what.
Well, they're on the short side of the field. They'll move him to the right. And he drops the football again. No gain on the play.
Yeah, there's been some bad exchanges for whatever reason. Ohio Northern's had a tough time. Will Rankin has struggled today getting the ball cleanly, consistently back to Freed. They run a lot of things out of the shotgun, and he's had several low snaps and a couple fumbled snaps.
Will Freed, 9 of 16 for 63 yards passing the ball. Christian Williams, 13 carries for 96 yards. He's averaging 7.5 yards a carry. Those are some pretty impressive numbers in the first half. 3rd and 10 at the 36. Williams to the right. Heavy rush from the outside. That forces Freed to step up in the pocket. He fires a long strike against double coverage, and it goes incomplete as he was looking for Riley Brandstetter.
Not a bad pass considering how much pressure he had, and he almost connected.
Again, that pressure from the outside. BW is putting pressure on Will Freed today. But for the sophomore, a lot of composure there, just stepping up, checking off, and looking downfield for his receivers.
You know, there's little doubt in my mind that the future of this Ohio Northern program is pretty bright with guys like Freed and Christian Williams. Heck, we really haven't even seen much of any of their other running backs. They've got a good young offensive core, and Ohio Northern defensively usually one of the better teams in the conference. That one trickles into the end zone.
Boy,
BW's had their chances today,
yeah,
and look, it's still only a one-score game. There's a ton of game left. But you wonder how many times Baldwin Wallace can sit there and say, well, we missed that opportunity, we missed a chance here. You just can't let too many of those slip by.
You can't. I mean, Ohio Northern took advantage on a muff punt. They got the points on the board after that. So the points off the turnover, very critical for Ohio Northern. With 4:41 remaining here in quarter number 2, and BW just down by a score, it's imperative for this offense to get moving. There was a time in that first quarter where they moved the football well. Now they've just really struggled.
Yeah, the first drive they went 3 and out, but that second one they went all the way down the field. They had a big pass play. Hudson scored on a 10-yard run. They basically moved the ball 75, 80 yards up the field on that drive.
It's going to be a jet sweep as they get it to the 25-yard line.
Turns out that's Kenneth Henderson playing wide receiver wearing number 19 as opposed to Ivan Mitchell.
So Kenneth Henderson on that jet sweep.
Well, admittedly, I made that decision to say that based on what I heard on the PA. And then the PA announcer just changed his mind. So suffice it to say, we have no idea which of the two that is.
But it's a second down, and it's a gain of 5 for the Yellow Jackets. That we do know. And that is the Austin Smith getting it to the 30. And boy, there was just a pile at the line of scrimmage at that point of attack. It looked like Hudson was going to keep it himself, but then just at the very last moment gives it to Austin Smith, and he picks up the first down. Austin Smith, 8 carries for 25 yards on the day. Checking out of the ball game will be Brett Sapancic, the sophomore out of Midview High School, the former Midi. We're down to 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. Yellow Jackets still down by a touchdown and still in this game. As Hudson looking to throw. Comeback route right through the hands of the intended receiver, Tyler Wolf out of Fremont Ross.
Just to piggyback off what you said a minute ago, how about that high school program right now at Midview? Boy, have they had a nice program over the last few years.
Very strong Lorain County program.
They actually just turned out a pro baseball player. They had a wide receiver named Eric Lauer, who was tremendous there a couple years ago. He decided to play college baseball at Kent State and was just drafted this past summer. Really good young pitcher, throws in the low 90s.
And Kent State not too shabby of a baseball program in for a Northern Ohio or Northern team.
You know, they might be the #1 program in the state of Ohio.
2nd and 10 as Smith does not get anywhere. And you're looking at a very tough Ohio State baseball program too.
Yeah, they've started to turn the corner a little bit. Cincinnati's done a really nice job rebuilding their program. They had 22 freshmen a couple years ago, and they've retooled their program to one of the top in Division I. But Xavier's program has struggled on the baseball side a little bit. But anyways, Midview should be awfully proud of what they've done on the football field.
3rd and 10 at the 30-yard line for the Yellow Jackets, down to 2:45 in the second quarter. A lot of adjustments being made by that offensive line on the blocking scheme. Hudson is going to fire the pass. It is caught by Tyler Wolf, breaks a tackle down to the 50 on the sideline, trying to beat one man, looking for a block at the 20, and he tiptoes his way out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. 50 yards on the pitch and catch.
Great play call.
And a lot of it yards after the catch.
Yeah, and a lot of it yards after contact.
And then the run once again.
A flag was thrown on that play. Everybody was trying to sub in and out, and I'm not sure that everybody got set. That might be an illegal substitution coming in.
BW going with that fast tempo once again, trying to keep Ohio Northern back on its heels.
Referees are all conferring. I'm pretty sure Ohio Northern's going to get hit with a 12th man on the field.
Still awaiting for the referee to come to the sidelines to make the call, if any. Okay.
Yep, it was flagged on Ohio Northern. You could see the discussion going on the far side of the field there.
So they'll take it back to the line of scrimmage, where they're still having some discussions over this.
Well, 5 extra free yards for the Jackets. Let's see if they take advantage. Got all the way down to the 15.
And it's first down. 1st and 5 for the Yellow Jackets. Smith in that backfield. 2 receivers to the near side. Zepancic is the tight end. Tight on the right. Under 2 minutes to go. Austin Smith barrels his way close to the 11-yard line. He'll be a yard shy. He picks up about 4.5 yards.
See, for BW right now, obviously the goal is get in the end zone, but it's also be smart with the clock here. Beautiful play over to Steinwalks, and he'll have what appears to be forward progress to that 10-yard line for that first down. Stops the clock, and that should move the sticks.
And they've been pretty effective once they get into that short yardage situation of getting to the line of scrimmage and setting it up quickly to run that play. I think they're a little bit faster than the officials.
I'm not sure what I'm missing here. The official on the far side wants the clock to stop. And where that ball is placed,
yeah, that should be a first down.
Sure looks like a first down to me, but maybe I've got a bad angle. No, they're calling it 3rd and inches. How about that?
Wow. 3rd down and inches for the Yellow Jackets with 1:30 remaining in the half. Boy,
it might be 3rd and 1 chain link.
If that, if that. They sure would love to get a score before the half. Smith easily gets the first down as he gets to the 6-yard line. And it's 1st and goal to go for BW. Clock not on their side right now, down to 1:08, but they quickly get back to the line of scrimmage. Zepancic is the H-back. Hudson looks, throws, and it went right out of his hands. It slipped right out. While it's a bad pass, the good thing for BW is it stops the clock.
Well, the entire Polar Bear coaching staff is frustrated because they felt that Austin Smith had put down a chop block. He certainly undercut the defensive lineman, though. I don't believe that was an illegal play.
Brings up 3rd and goal at the 7 right now for the Yellow Jackets. They're knocking on the door. And a timeout will be called.
Yeah, you might as well. I mean, what the heck? You've got it in your pocket. When you're this deep in the, in your opposition's territory, especially where the clock is on the, on the scoreboard under a minute to go, you can't afford not to put it in the end zone here.
Jake Hudson, 5 of 8 for 113 yards. Austin Smith, while he's been getting a lot of carries, 11 carries, just 34 yards for him.
Christian Williams right now stealing most of the headlines. 13 totes for 96 yards and a score. Will Freed has not been an effective passer today. Not necessarily the completion percentage. That's not overly surprising for a guy that's throwing for a conference high 250 yards a game, and for number 2 in the conference, 21 touchdowns. actually completes less than 60% of his passes, which is a little strange. Today he's 9 of 17, so that's not too strange for the Polar Bears.
So it's 3rd and goal at the 7 for BW. Hudson, long count, looking to throw, fires for the corner, and it is incomplete as that pass was intended for Steinwachs.
Well, the Polar Bears are known for traveling pretty well, and they've got a good crowd on the far side. They just all got to their feet after seeing that big incompletion in the end zone. At this point for the Jackets, I mean, you've got to take the chip shot field goal. Can't leave points on the board.
Simonis getting ready for the field goal. They'll spot it just shy of the 15, so we'll mark it at the 14. It'll be a 24-yard field goal as that kick is up, and it is good. They get points on the board. It's good that they got 3. I'm sure they would have loved to try to get those 7.
I'm sure they would have, and admittedly, I don't remember exactly where the clock was when the drive started, but I'm pretty sure it was around the 9.5-minute mark. It was at least 9 minutes. So that means the drive now with 50 seconds left in the half. I mean, it's probably an 8-minute drive, 8 or 9 minute drive. They killed a ton of time, and at least they did get points out of it. What did I say in the first quarter? That was something BW had struggled with, sustaining long drives and converting it into points. So I would call that a successful drive for the Jackets. Maybe give a little credit to Ohio Northern's defense for getting a little stingy when they needed it late.
It was a 10-play, 74-yard drive that took 3:51 off the clock.
3:51.
Yeah.
Okay.
It seemed longer.
I must be leaving something out. I don't know. Oh, what the heck.
But for Coach John Snell and his squad, those 3 points, they're huge going in.
No doubt.
You would have liked to get that 7. As Ohio Northern getting ready to bring this one out, and boy, nice open field tackle being made by Adam Groves on the returner. 45 seconds. What will Will Freed, will Coach Dean Paul just be happy going in with a 4-point lead, or will he air it out a little bit?
Well,
BW, still has a lot. He still has a lot of time.
BW gets the ball to start the second half, and Polar Bears have 3 timeouts, so maybe give it a shot. I think a lot of it, I think, depends on what happens here on the first play from scrimmage, but might as well at least try to get into field goal range.
Freed, 9 of 17, 63 yards. Also thrown a touchdown today. He's going to look to throw. Sets up the screen inside over to Williams to the 30-35. Has some room. Has a block downfield at the 40. He'll get it to the 35-yard line. They'll mark him down at about the 33. Boy, talk about a big pickup on that inside screen.
Hard to be surprised by a play like that. Get the ball in your best playmaker's hands and off to the races.
Boy, BW getting a lot of players off the field late as Freed looking to throw. Spins the ball in his hand, flushed out of the pocket, fires downfield, incomplete, and that'll stop the clock with 22 seconds remaining in the first half of action. Could you see Williams once again on a little screen?
Yeah, I'm thinking here that it's probably a little outside field goal range, especially considering how low the last kick was and then it was blocked. Although you do see French warming up on the far side.
From 40 to 49, he's 2 of 2. But like you said,
he certainly got the leg. It's just a matter of can he get the ball elevated quickly enough.
2nd and 10 at the 33. The handoff goes to Williams. Finds a little hole, gets it to the 25-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 24. That'll stop the clock with 16 seconds and makes it a more manageable area to possibly kick.
Yeah, and again, with having 3 timeouts, you can take all of your conventional thinking and throw it out the window. You don't mind running a running play like that. Use one of the timeouts, get the ball into a spot where you think you can knock it in. It'll essentially be about a 41-yard field goal. That's much more manageable. By the way, Mount Union has scored early in that third quarter. John Carroll on that opening score of the game. I mentioned they scored on an 80-yard touchdown run, their first play from scrimmage. I don't know if it was a missed extra point or if somehow it was botched, but they did not convert the extra point. Mount Union has scored 2 unanswered touchdowns now, so the Blue Streaks trail for the first time in the game, 14-13 at Mount Union, but still basically the entire second half out in front of us in what should be a pretty good conference title game.
Absolutely. 16 seconds remaining here at Tressel Field as Ohio Northern up 14-10, facing a 3rd down and 2. Swing pass once again to Williams, gets a block to the 20. Can he get out of bounds? He does, and we're going to have a flag thrown. Could be a face mask. As the ball getting out of bounds at the 18-yard line, that stops the clock with 9 seconds.
Well, and see, for me, getting out of bounds doesn't make a difference because there's still 2 timeouts left in Ohio Northern's pocket. Face mask goes against the defense. That is, again, I really don't want to pile on, but how many mistakes has BW made this half?
And right now, only down by 4. Those mistakes aren't costing them, but it could cost them right now with less than 9 seconds to go in the half.
Well, Ohio Northern takes his timeout, but you talk about a face mask there. Now you've got basically a guaranteed field goal. You've got the muff punt down on this end. Baldwin Wallace had a chance after blocking the field goal to try to move down the field. They couldn't score, and they had to give the ball up.
And the ball will be spotted at the 9-yard line on the near side hash mark.
With 9 seconds left, Ohio Northern, I believe, has 1 timeout, even though the scoreboard reflects 2, because they just burned one a moment ago. I would think if you're Will Freed, you probably have the chance, I would think, to take one quick shot, but if you don't like it, do something to get the play over with quickly and don't lose the opportunity. I don't think you'll see the field goal unit come out with still 9 full seconds left.
Well, and it'll be interesting to see the formation that Ohio Northern will use when they come out of this timeout. They'll have Hadley on the near side in single coverage. You got the big guy, Logan Ray, split wide to the right. So they'll go with a 3-by-1 set.
And remember how many quick slant passes this team likes to throw.
Single coverage out there as Freed looking, firing, going to the corner. Logan Ray, no. Yes, they're going to call the touchdown. Or I'm sorry, Reed Allen. Wow, on that outside pattern.
Well-designed play. They had Ray basically run to the 2-yard line and come back in, and they crossed out the defensive backs, put a lot of onus on the quarterback to make a good throw. Give him credit for a nice diving catch. The Polar Bears are able to go up with 1 second left on the clock.
And an unsportsmanlike conduct call will be assessed against BW before they got ready for the kick. Well, it looks like one of the...
Yeah, I think Dean Paul is basically saying, yeah, let's enforce it on the kickoff.
And still 1 second remaining here in the first half. Ohio Northern up 20-10. So they'll assess it after on the kick as they get ready for the extra point. French getting ready. Trying to make this a 21-10 lead before the half. Still low on his trajectory, but he puts it through. 21-10, Ohio Northern with the lead.
Well, the Polar Bears, at least in the Dean Paul era, have struggled when they've played against the Yellow Jackets, but right now they've put together a good game plan. And honestly, the difference in this game, at least in my opinion, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I just see this right now as one team executing and capitalizing on mistakes, because there's been a fair share of mistakes on both sides. In my opinion, it just comes down to the fact that Ohio Northern has made BW pay for their mistakes.
When you look at the muff punt, it got inside the 9-yard line. Ohio Northern was able to capitalize and put points on the board. Again, you know, these penalties and just the miscues by BW, and Ohio Northern has taken full advantage of it. Those penalties, the face masking call. You know, this drive really set up with that screen, that middle screen to Williamson, who busted open some big yardage on this drive. And then you've got that face masking call. Now you're going to get some yardage assessed on the kickoff. And Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's one team being able to capitalize. Early on in the game, BW was able to answer the call and score quickly, but after that, they just have not been able to do that.
Remember, because of the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, it's going to look a little awkward on the kickoff here with all that yardage assessed.
They're going to put it at the 50-yard line instead of kicking from the 30. And kickers like to have that short field.
No doubt. Again, with 1 second left on the play clock, would not surprise me here if you just see a little squib kick.
21-10, Ohio Northern with the lead. And it's on the ground, and the ball is loose, covered up, and that'll be the end of the first half of action. 1 half in the books, 21-10, Ohio Northern with the lead over Baldwin Wallace here at Tressel Field. We'll take this timeout. It is halftime here as BW finding themselves down 21-10. And welcome back as we get ready for the second half of action. Taking a look at some of the numbers. Baldwin Wallace with 169 yards in total offense, 113 passing, and 56 on the ground, compared to 218 in total offense for Ohio Northern. 122 passing, 96 on the ground.
Yeah, and most of BW's yards have come on 2 drives. They had the 74-yard drive that Hudson capped off with the touchdown run back in the first quarter, and they had another 74-yard drive in which they got a Joe Simonis field goal. And you basically look at that and say, okay, 148 of the 169 yards came on those 2 drives. So, you know, they're happy to have had 10 points on the board. I know they feel like they should have 14 and possibly more. But BW will have a chance to take the ball first in the second half, so we'll see what they've got in front of them.
End over end kick. It'll be taken by Washington at about the 2. He'll bring it out to the 10, 15, 20. Squeaks his way to the 21, maybe the 22-yard line. And that is where the Yellow Jackets will get the ball. They were able to put some points on in the second quarter, and it's important for them to start off this third quarter, Brendan, that they move the football.
Yeah, they need to do that, and honestly, on first down, while I don't have any advanced numbers to give you, I can tell you that on those 2 drives, just by paying attention to the game, first downs were very successful. The rest of the first half, they weren't moving the ball on first down much, and then you've got to get off to a better start. I'm not sure why they put the ball on the right hash mark when he was tackled over on the left side, but maybe the umpires were still in the locker room. All right, so
now
we're just about ready to go.
Now they move it over to the left side. Hudson, 5 of 10 for 113 passing. Sapancic goes in motion. Now he'll be in the slot. Going to throw and bat it up in the air and almost caught by Hudson.
Actually, Hudson did the right thing.
And
he
not catch
slapped it down.
Yeah.
It was an incomplete pass instead of a loss of what would have been at least 5 to 6 yards.
And I believe coming in was Mike Cunningham to put the hands on the football out of North Royalton. 6'3", 240 senior. Not a good way to start the second half of action.
Not what you really had in mind. Jason Hunley was over there too from that defensive end spot.
3 receivers out on the pattern for BW in single coverage. Hudson's going to look to throw. Quick comeback route. Pass is completed over to Wagoner. Wagoner will turn upfield and get out of bounds at the 34-yard line and picks up the first down.
And I don't really know what Nick Razik was doing there. He just flat out missed on the diving tackle, and I didn't think he really needed to go into a dive. He cost his team a big chunk of yards. Lucky for the Jackets, they move the sticks.
Yeah, they get that first down. Big first down to start this second half after the first play from scrimmage didn't go so well. Once again, 3 receivers out on the pattern. Ty Gallo is on the inside slot to the far side of the field. Hudson looking to throw again. Pumps, looks, flushed out of the pocket. Will go down for a loss of 4 on the play back at the 30-yard line.
While we have a quick second, we'll get you updated on the rest of the conference, as we promised we would do starting this half.
Jason Hunley coming in on the sack.
Really not too much as a surprise right now around the OAC. Otterbein is beating Marietta handily 35-14 in the mid-third quarter.
21-10, Ohio Northern leading it over here.
While Skingham on top of Wilmington 23-7 after 3. Heidelberg is smoking Capital 26-0. That game is near halftime.
Second down and 14 for the Yellow Jackets as Hudson looking to throw. Heavy rush again, gets away from 1, gets away from 2, but he couldn't get away from the 3rd defender. Once again, Mike Cunningham coming in with the sack.
Yeah, you could tell as he was trying to move over, he really wanted to get rid of that football. They did the right thing by not forcing a stupid pass.
Loss of 8 on the play brings up 3rd down and 22.
By the way, update from the de facto conference title game. John Carroll did just score. That game is in the early 4th quarter, but the 2-point conversion failed. So Mount Union still has a 2-point lead, but still a lot of game left out in Alliance.
BW 2 of 6 on 3rd down conversions. Faking the jet sweep. Now they go with the screen over to Austin Smith. He'll spin his way to the 30-yard line and a good open field tackle.
I'll tell you what, that has to be probably the most disappointing play of the day because that was a brilliantly designed play. I mean, if the block sets up on the right wing on the outside, Smith scores. That was as well designed a play as BW could have had on 3rd and basically 17. And now it just sort of sucks the wind out of your sails, man. That's tough. Smith was that close to breaking it big.
And hopefully it's not setting the tone for the remainder of the second half as Smith kicks this one away. A little bit better kick this time. Fair catch is made, and it is dropped, and it will be recovered by Ohio Northern. BW just couldn't get that break.
Man, you just start to wonder, too. Again, I realize it's the last game of the season, and so much is just a domino effect. You got one win in conference, and it's just tough when you see those kinds of plays. BW is making too many mistakes. You can't make those mistakes down 11 points. A lot of game left ahead of us, and there's no reason the Jackets can't come back. But they need to make adjustments quickly.
Will Free, 12 of 21 for 122 yards. They'll give it to Christian Williams. He stops on a dime, reverses his field, gets a block, and he gets back to the 45-yard line, to the 46. Ran about 20, but picked up 5 or 6.
That kid's a freshman. Unbelievable. What vision and awareness to recognize, all right, I'm not gonna run into 4 white jerseys, but let me try the other side.
Any other freshman would have just stopped and said, okay, just tackle me, I'm done. Yeah,
that's exceptional patience from that young back. Very well done.
And he picks up 6 yards on the play. Over 100 yards rushing the football.
9th game in a row for him.
Quick hitter. Reed Allen may have eked out a yard, if not.
Yeah,
just stumbled his way for a yard gain.
That's on Freed, and he knows it. He didn't make a good pass. He was basically trying to throw a quick screen, and he led Allen by way too much. The fact the ball was thrown so far out in front of him made him lose his balance. Of course, in the college game, as soon as you hit the turf, you're down. The NFL, you can get back up and keep running until you're touched down.
3 of 8 on 3rd down conversions for Ohio Northern. 10:50 to go. They're up 21-10. Logan Ray in motion. On a rollout. Freed fires. Not anywhere near his intended receiver, Reed Allen. 6'1", 205 out of Anthony Wayne High School. They are marching in the playoffs as well in their division.
They sure are.
Final regular season game of the Ohio Athletic Conference season. And Ohio Northern getting ready to punt the football away. Kyle Bergman. Kick is away. Fair catch made by Washington at the 22-yard line. As the sun slowly begins to set and the shadows begin to creep on the field.
It's 3:45 in the afternoon. It's
I know.
very weird.
Normally we're basking in the sunshine.
Yeah, it is very odd.
That's what happens when you hit fall. The days get shorter.
It's a little
the nights are longer and the attitudes get worse.
That's right. That's right. It's a little chilly out with the wind, but still temperatures in the high 40s. It's still a comfortable fall day.
Hudson getting ready. Hands it off to Austin Smith. Cuts the corner. Getting close to that first down marker. He gets to the 32. Austin Smith, the junior out of North Royalton, came into this game rushing for 610 yards. You know, when your running back is the second leading rusher on the team and your quarterback is the leading rusher?
That's a pretty dangerous offense.
Yes. 10-13 in the third quarter. Picturesque view of the trees here in Berea. As Hudson on 1st and 10. Little toss to Tyler Wolf on the jet sweep, trying to cut the corner, and gets driven out of bounds by Jason Lucas out of North Ridgeville. We've called his name a number of times.
He has probably had the most impactful game defensively. I realize that we've seen some good play from Ohio Northern's defensive line, but Lucas as the free safety, he's really done a good job.
Very active back there. 2nd down and 9, only a gain of 1 on the play, and that shows how Ohio Northern really stretched out and then utilized the boundary for that play. Sapancic is the H-back to the left-hand side. 2 receivers to the top. Play action. Quick hitter once again. Tyler Wolf breaks a tackle. Tried to cut in. He'll get to the 40. He'll be a 1.5 yards shy of the first down marker. 3rd down, and quickly, no huddle, tempo. Hudson out of the gun. They give it to Smith. Smith should have the first down. Looking at the far side official, it looks like he hasn't, and they're telling him to move the chains.
Yeah, thankfully from our vantage point, we are basically sitting on the line of scrimmage. Otherwise, that would have been pretty tough to read. He was awfully close.
So the first down goes for the Yellow Jackets.
Schmerds had the tackle, by the way.
Now they'll send 3 receivers to the left. Nice little drive going on right now by the Yellow Jackets after that first drive of the second half was really null and void. Hudson getting the snap. Play action. Looking. He's got a receiver downfield looking for Wolf, and it's going to be intercepted. Christian Randolph coming up with the INT. He'll run it up the sideline. Some of the folks from BW were hoping for a pass interference call.
I was just going to say, it depends on which side you're looking at. If you're a BW fan, you're up in arms. If you're an Ohio Northern fan, you say, great job going toe for toe with him and bumping him off at the last minute. That was it was a very tight call, but it went the Polar Bears' way.
2nd turnover of the game, but really offensively, the first turnover committed.
Ohio Northern entered the game today +7 in the turnover category, one of the best in the conference. They don't give the ball away very often.
And now they will have the football at the 33-yard line. Williams, 14 carries, 104 yards. Longest run this afternoon, 22 yards, and he has a touchdown. With 8 minutes on the play action. Good stretch out pass on that far side to Brendan Hadley out of Bradenton, Florida. And a first down for Ohio Northern. Boy, got his body in position, used that sideline, stretched it out, and it's a first down for Ohio Northern with 7:50 to go. Fifth different receiver catching the ball as they get it to Williams, and boy, he fights his way. He was dropped for a loss of at least a yard, and then still second effort got him 2.
Man, he just doesn't stop. I was honestly about to say that was probably the first time that BW's truly wrapped him up behind the line all day, and he got 3 yards out of it. He would have had a loss of 1. Instead, he picks up 2. Tremendous effort.
2nd down and 8 for Ohio Northern. In the lead with a 21-10. Play action again. Right up the middle. Oh, boy. Boy, if he would have just waited just a half second on that throw to Caleb Salfield, that could have been 6 on that post route on the seam.
Yeah, Freed is showing maybe his very small chink in the armor, if you will. I think if you're Will Freed, your number one priority in the offseason, since the Polar Bears are not postseason bound, he has to focus on being more accurate. It's been his biggest problem all year, despite putting up some good numbers.
On 3rd and 8. Heavy rush. Oh, big sack by Damon Bowler. And we talked about that pressure being put on by the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets, and they got into the face of Will Freed, and Damon Bowler coming in on the sack. Came into this game with 2.5 sacks.
Well, the defense is keeping the Jackets in it.
2 sacks on the day for him today.
Yep. Now it's time for the offense to get rolling. Still mid-3rd quarter, plenty of time left.
Ohio Northern getting ready to punt on 4th down. Good snap, high kick. And it's going to take an Ohio Northern roll inside the 15, end over end to the 10. Wow. Everything going Ohio Northern's way this afternoon.
What a 52-yard punt.
6:13 remaining. Can the Yellow Jackets, that last possession, they moved the ball pretty well until the interception.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you made the comment that the drive was starting to sustain itself a little bit, but it just goes back to the point that even when they've strung some good things together, they don't strike quickly, then the Jackets have had trouble finishing off drives.
And we still have a lot of time remaining. 6:13 left.
I'm interested to see what's going on down here because John Snell was so far outside of the huddle. It was almost like he was looking for an official to come over his way. The officials still haven't spotted the ball, but I thought it was pretty clear. Oh, you know what? Must be that someone actually touched it at the 15-yard line instead of the 10.
Okay, so BW picks up an extra 5 yards.
The ball was definitely down at the 10, but it must have glanced off a polar bear just before that.
Offset eye, they give the ball over to Austin Smith, bounces off the line of scrimmage, but he'll pick up 2 yards as he gets out to the 18-yard line. BW trying to get into this game down 21-10. Single setback. Austin Smith, the junior. Hudson, the sophomore quarterback, is going to look to throw, fires it to the receiver. Going up and making the catch is Ty Gallo, and he'll get it at about the 48-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 49.
And Lucas is lucky he didn't get called for a horse collar tackle.
32 yards on the reception. Boy, did he go up for that ball.
Really well done.
I just looked, and the score just changed.
Wow. Well, I saw that John Carroll had sacked Mount Union for a 17-yard loss, but I wonder if there was a fumble recovery for a touchdown.
Oh, on a pass play on the near side, they tried to get it to Ty Gallo, but Cody Cox out of Roanoke, Indiana, came in and just blew up that play.
Dom Davis, the quarterback for Mount Union, sacked for a 17-yard loss. He fumbled, and the Blue Streaks picked it up at the 45-yard line, and Dylan Hall ran it into the end zone. The John Carroll Blue Streaks are 5 minutes and 13 seconds away, in regulation at least, from knocking off an OAC team that has not lost since Ohio Northern in 2005.
And before that,
it was Baldwin Wallace. You're right. These are the last two teams who have beaten them out.
Ty Gallo on the jet sweep, cuts up at the hash marks, and he'll get to the 50-yard line. He'll pick up 2 yards on the play. I'm sure the rest of the country is now keeping a close eye, if not already, even more so on that John Carroll Mount game. Here in Berea, 21-10, Ohio Northern with the lead, 4 minutes to go, and BW moving the football. It's like they get this Jekyll and Hyde act on offense. Some drives they do well, they move the football. Other drives they just implode.
Well, third and long yardage situations are not going to be BW's friends, so they've got to come up with something productive here.
49% on third down conversions this year coming into this game. And that pass batted at the line of scrimmage, and Mike Cunningham again in the face of Jake Hudson.
They brought Devon Johnson off the far side of the field. Austin Smith made a great block to give his quarterback Hudson an extra second or two to look down the field. But for whatever reason, the offensive line for the Jackets today several times have not been able to keep those defensive linemen at bay, and there have been several balls swatted at the line of scrimmage.
Mike Cunningham on the day, 3 tackles and a tackle for a loss. And that one almost blocked, and they're not going to call, they will call it. It's a late flag as we're going to have roughing into the kicker as Devon Johnson out of Stowe ran right into Austin Smith. And the Yellow Jackets will have the football. Big break for BW. Maybe that's that little spark that they're just desperately trying to grasp.
Well, and you think, too, about, I never want to run into the punter. Remember, BW's punter is their leading running back, so he's not afraid to take a hit.
Well, he came up holding his back. He knew he got hit pretty good, but, he can take a lick.
That's right. Not the first time he's been hit this year.
No. And when you look at some of the defenses in the Ohio Athletic Conference, there's some big, hard-hitting teams.
Isn't that the truth?
Well, little life, great ball position as it's at the 34-yard line now, Brendan. Hudson at the line. Looks over the defense, awaiting that snap. They'll bring one in motion. A lot of time to throw. Now he's going to run the football. Tucks it to the 31. He wanted to throw that football.
Yeah, he really did. Alex Kurtz, the left tackle, has been a staple on the offensive line most of his career. I wonder if maybe he's just at a spot right now where he's a little fatigued because he's just struggling to keep Jason Hundley from sneaking by him play after play. As a defensive end, Hundley is working his way to the outside, and Kurtz is having a tough time containing him.
Kurtz out of Smithville, a senior, playing his final game here at BW. Hudson looking over the defense. Getting the play from the sideline. Play clock down to 3. Has to get it off. It's down to 2, and they do in time. And on the run is Bucky Hendershot. Hendershot will be a yard shy as he gets it to the 25-yard line. I love that name. That is a great football name. Bucky Hendershot.
Great football name. Gotta love it.
And he comes off the field, picks up some yards, but still brings up 3rd down and for this offense, a very long one.
I would think for BW right now, they're probably in 4-down territory. Not sure this is quite where they want to kick a field goal from.
Looking over the defense, we're down to 13 seconds on the play clock. Boy, a lot of changes at that line of scrimmage. Play clock down to 5. Down to 3. 2, they get the play off. Austin Smith is not going to get the first down as he is going to be shy, maybe by the length of the football. Too much time trying to get that play off.
Yeah, they pretty much put him right back where he started.
4th down and inches now for BW. Ball is at the 25-yard line. They need to get to the 24. Big play now for BW. Play clock down to 10. It's down to 6. A lot of time being taken off the clock. Down to 2. They get it off.
Well, he should have the first down.
He got upended, went up in the air, and they will get the first down. Boy, these last 2 plays, they were working that play clock down to 0 before they got the snap off.
Well, hindsight's always a little bit easier. And in BW's perspective, they got the first down. Put it behind you. It's still a 2-score game. Got to put this ball in the end zone.
It's easy for us up here in the ivory tower.
No doubt.
Down to a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. BW down 21-10. They're moving. They have the ball at the Ohio Northern 23. On first down. Play action. Hudson firing up the middle, looking for his receiver, jumping up, grabbing it, coming down. Touchdown is Mike Wagoner out of Stowe. Boy, he used his defender's body to keep him in bounds because he was teetering on that back edge of the line.
I was thinking right as Hudson let it go that maybe that ball was going to be a little overthrown. And honestly, kind of died a little bit in the air, and Wagoner went way up top to grab it.
21-16 is our score.
Interesting strategy from Baldwin Wallace, not choosing to go for 2. Still a lot of game left. You're basically at the end of the 3rd quarter, but had they converted a 2-point conversion, you could have made it a 3-point game. BW, I guess, is taking the bet that, you know what, it's going to take more than one more score to win the game anyways.
Well, they're hoping for a stop by their defense.
By the way, Mount Union just ran a 5-play, 70-yard drive on John Carroll in only a minute and 34 seconds. to take a 28-25 lead over the Blue Streaks with 3:24 left in the game.
And how many times have those two teams played tight matchups?
Down to the wire. Heck,
I remember
a couple of years ago, Mark Myers, the quarterback at John Carroll, those two teams played 3 games in 2 years at Mount Union, and all 3 of them were decided by 8 points or less.
I'm going to go back a little bit further.
Okay.
When Tom Arth was the quarterback for John Carroll. This game was at Bedford Bearcat Stadium.
You bet.
And it came down to a missed field goal by John Carroll in losing a tight one to Mount Union.
Just so you know what's on the line historically here, John Carroll hasn't beaten Mount Union since 1989. No player on either one of these two teams had even been born the last time the Blue Streaks knocked off the Purple Raiders.
And Ohio Northern on the big return. Down to the 40. What a big return being made by Jamison Scarborough.
Yeah, he just kind of ran out of room by a long shot, his longest return of the season. In fact, 33 yards had been his prior long on a kick return.
And I think Ty Fields got hit with another personal foul. He was yipping at the official, and I think he may have said something else on the sideline when the flag was thrown. Big return that time. By Ohio Northern. And the faithful for BW, not too pleased, as you hear the Boo Birds.
Well, you want to talk about taking the wind out of BW's sails. They go down, they are able to put one in the end zone on their nicest drive in recent memory. And then Ohio Northern rips off about a 60-yard kick return.
And the ball's placed at the BW 30-yard line. And we still have 30 seconds remaining.
We might see
in the third quarter.
We just might see a score before the quarter's over, you're right. They're calling it 60. Wait, let's check that again. No, you know what? They haven't updated the live stats. I think it was about a 60-yard return.
Play action, pump to the right, going up the middle, looking for a receiver, incomplete as they were looking for Logan Ray. Double coverage right there on him. Well, you were right. They wanted to hit that home run ball right after the score.
That seems to be Ohio Northern's kind of their mojo lately. They don't want to give their opposition, whether it's BW or Wilmington last week or anybody else for that matter, they just don't want to give anybody any life.
Boy, Logan Ray at 6'6", you can't miss him with those flowing golden locks coming out of his helmet. Gets an inside block. Good block by Ray as the quarterback right there, Will Freed, runs. He'll pick up 2 yards on the play. Boy, that was really set up. Logan Ray came in motion to the near side and then gave Will Freed the edge to run that ball for a couple of yards.
That'll be the last play of the third quarter. Northern with a 4-point lead, and BW may be stealing some momentum back.
So we're down to the final 4 minutes of this matchup. Final fourth quarter matchup.
John Carroll just scored at Mount Union with less than a minute to go, and they lead the game, pending an extra point by 4 points. Is today the day that Mount Union goes down?
Today's Yellow Jacket game is brought to you by Parkway Auto Care in Berea, Strongsville Express Tire and Auto Service in Montville. We serve the southwestern suburbs of Greater Cleveland. Today's game is also brought to you by American International. When you require a company with proven performance, rely on American International. Also by the Comfort Inn in Middleburg Heights, where your comfort is just a part of the service we provide our guests. Also, today's game is brought to you by the Courtyard by Marriott and Town Place Suites in Middleburg Heights. Have you stayed at a Marriott today?
But
oh no,
John Carroll missed another extra point.
Ended up by 3.
So it's a 3-point game with 39 seconds left to go.
Here in Berea, Ohio Northern starts the fourth quarter with a 3rd and 7 at their Baldwin Wallace 26. Will Freed, heavy rush, he gets taken down. And you can say that was a little bit of a leg whip action by Wesley Spence, the sophomore out of North Canton Hoover, because his body was going one way, his leg stuck out and got Will free to go down to the turf.
He got him pretty good. The Jacket defense did their job.
They came up with that pressure again.
That's right.
They've been consistent defensively, getting that pressure on Freed, and right now they're going to punt the ball away. I would venture to guess this is going to go into the end zone, unless he really gets off a great kick. Heavy rush, tries the angle, and it's inside the 10. They're going to mark it about the 6. What a bounce.
It couldn't have felt very good.
No.
It came rocketing back at him.
Yeah, it came. I don't think he was expecting the football to come back to him like that. So with 14-14 remaining, BW still down by 4 points. You look at the numbers, and this game should be way, way much of a difference between the two teams.
Well, Jackets have to just flush everything that's happened in the past and focus on finding the end zone on this drive.
And this drive will start at their 8-yard line. 92 yards to try to get a score. Half rollout. Hudson backs up, throws wisely out of play. Good defensive coverage there by Ohio Northern. Hudson, 11 of 19 for 175 passing the football today. He has thrown 1 interception. When you look at the turnovers offensively, that's been the big problem. Just 1 interception, not too bad. The other one was the muff punt by BW, so 2 turnovers in a game.
Only 2.
Brings up 2nd and 10. They need to get some yardage to get out of the shadows, literally, of their own end zone late in the day. On another half rollout, has a receiver open. That is Sapancic, and boy, Sapancic at 6 foot, 250 pounds. I don't know how he got that body up in the air at 250 pounds, but made a valiant effort.
That's a big boy. Excellent leaping effort. He nearly came up with it.
He's a thumper. Member of the Short Neck Club.
There you go.
But you got to give him the athletic ability and what he tried to do
absolutely.
to go up for that and to make that catch. I mean, he laid himself out for that. Brings up 3rd down and 10. Still, we've got 14 minutes remaining in this game. BW just down 21-17. Hudson flushed out of the pocket, is going to run. He looks for that 1st down marker, and second effort's going to leave him short, or they're going to say he's going to get the 1st down. Let's see the spot of the football. The offensive line says, looks like we've got it. No, they're going to call it 4th down and just inches. The ball will be spotted at the 19-yard line. Wow. I thought he may have gotten that 1st down, did not get a favorable spot.
Awfully close, and at this point in the game, if you're the Yellow Jackets, you can't go for it at this spot. You have to punt it away.
Reed Allen is back to receive the punt. Smith kicking it away. Gets a good kick. Fair catch is made. And Ohio Northern will have it at the Baldwin Wallace 48-yard line.
So an update from that conference title game. Mount Union threw an incomplete pass on 1st down, then had a sack on 3rd down. There are 20 seconds left in the game. I'm sorry, it was sack on 2nd down. An incomplete pass on 3rd down. Mount Union has the ball on their own 23. It is 4th down and 12. They don't convert for 1st down. The John Carroll Blue Streaks are going to win the OAC title.
And how many times have you seen Mount Union on 4th and long convert?
Too many.
Too many times.
Way too many.
So that's not a given.
Over.
It's not over. Now Ohio Northern, they give it to Christian. Williams bounces to the outside, gets over the 45 to the 44. Williams, his 17th carry now for over 120 yards on the day.
Incomplete pass. John Carroll takes over on downs with 9 seconds left.
Just make sure you hold on to the football in the snap.
Wow. Listen to this crowd. They just announced here in Berea that Mount Union lost. Unbelievable.
Play action for Will Freed. Pass is caught on the near sideline. And that catch is made by Caleb Southfield. And that wasn't just the BW crowd. That was both stands.
Both sides went nuts. I told you early in the game, folks, it doesn't matter which of these two teams, Ohio Northern or Baldwin Wallace, you cheer for. You're a fan of your team, and you're a fan of whatever team is playing Mount Union every week. If you just joined us, Mount Union's championship loss at home today is their first loss in conference since 2005. That's incredible.
Christian Williams barrels through, gets his second footing as he broke a tackle, and he gets to the 20-yard line. Talk about that athletic presence for Williams as he picks up the big yardage. And as you're saying, boy, it's been a long time since. And to win at Mount Union is difficult enough as it is.
Just goes to show John Carroll's defense this year really is for real.
My broadcast partner on the high school side, Carmen Angelo, you'll hear him on WTAM. He's got to be crying right now because
I hope he is. I hope he's wallowing in his tears.
He is the biggest Mount. Ball is loose, it's fumbled, and it is picked up by BW.
Wow, huge turn of events.
As I was saying, he is the biggest Mount Union honk you could believe. I'm sure he's not going to be happy.
I'm going to have to call him and tell him to cry about it. Wow. I think it's safe to even say that as a BW fan, I think even BW fans would thank John Carroll for what they did today.
Oh, absolutely.
You know why? Seriously, it helps recruiting around the conference.
Yeah,
to show that, you know what, hey, somebody else other than Mount Union has a chance to win the OAC title every year. And for a while, these were the only two teams that could give Mount any kind of run.
Right.
When Mount Union comes to this stadium, typically that's one of the tougher places for them to come in the conference. And certainly anybody going to Ada really struggles.
Right.
Wow. Congratulations to the John Carroll Blue Streaks. They are playoff bound. I have to imagine Mount Union's going to the playoffs as well at 9-1.
I couldn't see Mount Union not getting into the playoffs as Austin Smith gets tripped up after he crosses the 5-yard line. If, for some reason, and the planets align, and Mount Union were not to get into the playoffs, you'd really have to look back at the system.
Well, the other side of the coin is if you're using the same criteria every week that you use, it comes down to strength of schedule. And the OAC this year was, by a conference standard, was poor on the national schedule. Mount Union and John Carroll, the top two teams in the conference, their strength of schedule wasn't even 500. And you're talking about other teams in the region that had significantly tougher schedules. Now, I can't in my heart of hearts think that any national pollster is going to damage Mount Union's credibility against a John Carroll team that's nationally ranked.
Right.
It's not like they lost to a bad team.
Right.
I have to think Mount Union's still going to go to the playoffs, but it's not a given.
They'll be biting their fingernails in alliance.
Yeah, you bet they will.
That would be interesting.
John Carroll has a chance to host a playoff game now, I would think. They just ran the table in the OAC.
BW going long on the far sideline. That catch is made by Wagner, still on his feet at the 40. Flag is thrown. We're going to have a face mask call against Ohio Northern as that pass was completed at the 43-yard line. Face mask, tack on another 15 yards against Ohio Northern. And being deep in their own end, Hudson made a great throw to Wagner. With 10:38 to go, BW is far from being out of this game, down by 4.
Only down 4 points, and what do we say at the beginning of this game? Forget what's happened the last several weeks. I know it's been a tough year, but you win that last game of the season, go into the offseason on a winning note, it makes the offseason a lot easier to feel like you're building momentum on. And not to mention, Ohio Northern is a darn good football team.
Yeah, don't let their record at 5-3 fool you during the conference. Now, 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Gallo gets back in the up-back position in the offset I. Play action. Hudson, swing pass. Gallo getting it at the 45. Breaks one, 2 tackles to the 45. We've got a flag thrown. It could be a holding call against BW as Gallo gets to the 30-yard line. The defense for Ohio Northern pointing the other way. And it should be, a face mask against Ohio Northern.
Wow. 2 in a row.
Holy mackerel. And just like that, 30 yards in penalties on this drive. And now Baldwin Wallace is sitting inside the red zone, and they'll place the ball at the 15-yard line.
There's still a ton of time left.
BW down by 4.
They've got to put it in the end zone here. Still 10 minutes left to go in the game.
They've been given a gift by this Ohio Northern team by the means of 2 big 15-yard face mask penalties. Little end around reverse. Oh, coming in and getting tripped up.
Beautiful tackle by Schmerge.
Is that Henderson? Henderson or Mitchell?
I think Schmerge had the tackle.
No, I'm saying for the BW run.
I believe. Oh, well, yeah. Number 19. Apologize, we don't know who it is. We were told before the game that there were going to be more than 100 players dressing and lots of double numbers.
Well, they got Jordan Leverett in the books. That's not even on our on the stats.
It used to be Leverett.
2nd down and 8 after a pickup of 2. They'll put back split in the backfield. And the handoff is to Tommy Fuller. Gets pushed out, gets out of bounds. That'll stop the clock. Well, I did not receive a text back from our mutual friend. But that's what Saturdays are for.
That's right. That's right.
21-17. Baldwin Wallace knocking on the door. They need to get to the 5-yard line for the first down. 3rd down and 3. Baldwin Wallace 3 of 8 on 3rd downs today. Smith getting the first down as he rumbles over the 4-yard line. 8:18, 1st and goal to go as they quickly go no huddle, set up at the line of scrimmage. Play action, pass, caught, Sapancic, touchdown!
What a tremendous diving catch by the big fella.
Sapancic at 6 foot, 250 pounds, as we call him, the thumper, makes his 7th catch of the year, and boy, what a catch for a touchdown. And now they go for the extra point as BW leads at 23-21. What a comeback by the Yellow Jackets. That kick is up and good.
This game is far from over. Buckle in. We got a fun 8:05 in front of us.
Looking at Coach John Snell pumping his fist up in the air. That drive aided by 2 big 15-yard penalties against Ohio Northern.
Just goes to show that this team really hasn't thrown the towel in. It's been a tough year, and Adam, a program in BW who's had so much pride and so much history of success. This has been one of the most disappointing years in school history, and yet here we are. How many times could Baldwin Wallace have folded today? And now they're in the lead 24-21. First lead since they had a 7. Actually, you know what? They've never led this game.
No.
Ohio Northern scored first, and BW tied it.
And tied
it's the first lead of the game.
That,
but we've talked so many times about all the penalties and the missed opportunities. You tip your hat to John Snell and his staff right now and the way these guys have just continued to fight. Incredible.
That could be the drive of the season for them right now. 8 plays, 97 yards.
It was all because of that fumble. They let it go out of bounds. That's a smart play there. Deep to return that ball by
Scarber.
But yeah, I mean, you go down to the fumble that we had up back on the 3-yard line. It's a heck of a drive.
Still a lot of time remaining in this game. 8:05 remaining in the 4th quarter. BW up 24-21. BW with 347 total yards on 59 plays, 253 passing, 94 on the ground. BW.
There you go. You know what? They said that actually Ohio Northern touched the ball
I thought he
at the
touched
12-yard line, so he's out of bounds at the 12, not all the way up at the 40.
In the red zone, BW's 3 of 3 today in the red zone.
They figured it out.
Meanwhile, Ohio Northern 3 of 5, and BW 2 of 3 on 4th down conversions. They have the lead. A lot of people would have thought earlier on in this game, boy, it's all Ohio Northern, but BW is really playing with a lot of heart today. Now Ohio Northern looking to strike back. Will Freed on a rollout, looking downfield. Nice defensive play, batted down as they try to get the pass to Reed Allen. Good defensive coverage in that backfield.
It was Trip Washington who had the muffed punt earlier. Just made a nice big defensive swap.
That'll stop the clock with under 8 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. BW up 24-21. And you even seen that life on the sideline for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, and suddenly it's awfully quiet across the way.
Will Freed, 15 of 27 on the day. Has Logan Ray in motion. They'll give it to Christian Williams. Tries to pull it to the outside, looking for that block at the 20 and out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Trip Washington pushing him out at about the 19. Christian Williams, 19 carries, 161 yards on the day. 3rd and 2 after a gain of 8 on that play. Clock down to 7:40 in the 4th quarter. In motion. Now they give it to Christian Williams. He gets to the 21. Only a yard pickup, and it brings up 4th down.
Well, if you're Ohio Northern, you certainly have to go for it at this point. It's going to be 4th down and inches. I don't see any way in which Ohio Northern could swallow their pride and punt the football here. I really think they got to trust what they have gotten all year long from Christian Williams. They got to believe they can pick up less than the length of the football. They got 10 seconds to get a playoff here, and they better figure it out quickly, or they're going to have to burn a timeout.
Play clock is down to 5 seconds. It's down to 3. Snap is off. They give it to Williams. Flag thrown. It could be illegal procedure against, and it is against Ohio Northern. And boy, that's a costly penalty.
Again, I don't like pointing fingers at coaches and players. I don't think that's fair, but I can't understand why they didn't call a timeout if they didn't feel like they were ready to go. You rushed a play in, and then nobody was on the same page. You just can't blow that situation.
Boy, you look at the sideline of the Yellow Jackets. Boy, they are just fired up.
They finally believe.
Yeah. There's a lot of youth on this team, and this is what they need to carry that momentum going into next season, as they will be back to punt the football. Trip Washington also back there to receive the kick. They'll let it bounce. It'll take an Ohio Northern roll to the 35. Still with 6:20 to go, BW has been able to get some pretty long drives. All they need to do is pick up a couple of 1st downs. Take some of that time off the clock. 6:20 remaining. BW up 24-21.
You're saying that time is on BW's side?
About a half hour ago, no.
Unbelievable.
Today's Yellow Jacket football game being brought to you by Integrity Berea. When you're looking for a place to call home, choose Integrity Berea. Visit us today at mybereaapartment.com. 6:20 remaining, 1st and 10 for the Yellow Jackets at their own 35. They have the lead at 24-21, trying to add some more points. Play action fake. The pass, a wide open Sapancic at the 40-yard line of Ohio Northern, and he gets out to the 35. They're going to mark him out of bounds at the 34. 2 huge catches for the tight end Sapancic.
Well, at BW, it's funny. Believe is really the word right now.
Right.
As a collective group, they believe they're going to win this game. and they're playing with a different level of confidence in the final 6 minutes.
What a catch. 2 big catches for Stepanczyk today. One of them was for a touchdown. Ball is at the Ohio Northern 33. Backs are split in the backfield. They bring Gallo in there. They'll hand the ball off. No, it's a read action as Hudson fighting his way. He got to the 25-yard line. He'll pick up 7 to 8 yards, and that confidence is just continuing to grow for BW.
Keep on ticking that clock down, keep the ball on the ground, and keep running it right down Ohio Northern's throat.
2nd down and 1, pistol formation now for the Yellow Jackets as they have Smith back there with 2 receivers on the near side. They're going to take as much time off of that clock. The clock is reading 5:18. The play clock is at 17. Looking over the defense. Clock down to 10. High snap brought down. Hudson fires. The pass is caught by Gallo inside the 20 to about the 19-yard line, and it's good enough for a first down as the Yellow Jackets are in the red zone, and today in the red zone, they're 3 of 3.
Well, the best thing Gallo did was go down inbounds. Keep the clock moving. You already got the first down, no problem. Again, if you're BW right now, obviously it's only a 3-point game, and this is not about just running out the clock. It's finding that balance between the right play, the right time, and trying to execute. But you certainly have the lead, and that's the most important part.
Hudson 16 of 26 for 285 yards and 2 touchdown passes. He's going to look to throw it again. The catch is made this time by Tommy Fuller inside the 15 to the 13, and he stays in bounds.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, at some point you're going to have to force Ohio Northern to start using some of their timeouts.
Now they quickly get to the line of scrimmage. They want that quick snap, and now they're going to look over the sideline to get the play.
Yeah, I think they only went up there trying to keep Ohio Northern's group out on the field. I don't think they really wanted to snap it that quickly. They're going to let this clock run a little bit.
Play clock is down to 10. Hudson getting the snap, gives the ball to Austin Smith, barrels his way to the 10. He'll be a yard shy of the first down. Needed to get to the 9. Clock still an ally of the Yellow Jackets right now. Quickly, it's going to be Hudson. First down, fighting his way to the 5-yard line as he picks up 5 on the play, and it's 1st and goal to go for BW. Actually, they're going to say the ball is spotted at the 6. Once again, it is Hudson, touchdown! Wow! He sliced and maneuvered his way in for the end zone for a 6-yard scamper.
It's not over, but that feels pretty good for the Yellow Jackets. Tell you what, they have come from a long way back. It hasn't always reflected it on the scoreboard, but all of a sudden, Baldwin Wallace right now is playing with the upper hand. Tremendous drive.
20 unanswered points by BW, make it 21.
Yeah, it was a 21-10 game at halftime. Ohio Northern hasn't scored since it came out of the locker room.
Boy, looking at John Snell on that sideline, double fist pump in the air. And the big man on the play for that drive, you have to credit Brett Stepanczyk.
You bet. They went to him on the first play after he caught the touchdown pass to give them the lead a short while ago. Pretty darn cool. Good to see Stepanczyk and his boys out there playing well.
31-21 our score. As today's Yellow Jacket football game being brought to you by Valley Ford Truck. When you need a big job done, call Valley Ford Truck. We carry the load for BW, kind of like Stepanczyk the last couple of plays. Also by Crown Plaza Suites in Middleburg Heights. When you're looking for a quality place to stay before any Yellow Jacket contest, please choose Crown Plaza Suites in Middleburg Heights. Adam Mendoza along with Brendan Gulick, glad to have you along here. BW with 21 unanswered second half points. And they lead it 31-21. Not that time for Jamison Scarborough, and you could even feel it from the energy of the crowd.
I'd love to know what that halftime locker room was like, because Baldwin Wallace had to go in the locker room and say, forget what the score is. The only reason we're losing this game is our own fault. And they've cleaned it up. They've stuck with their game plan. They've hit on a few plays, and they stopped shooting themselves in the foot.
And when we started the third quarter, that first play from scrimmage to start the third quarter where they got the pass batted down, you thought, oh, here we go again. This is going to be the continuance. No, they really picked themselves up.
It's been a full team effort all the way around, and they took advantage of the fumble when they were backed up against their own end zone, too.
Now Reed looking to throw. Will Freed throws an incompleted pass. He was looking for Malachi Naledi and just had a little bit too much zip on that football. Brings up 2nd and 10. The clock down to 3:12 to go. Well, you can hear the chant from the fans here at Tressel Field. Calling for the D to make a big play. 2nd down and 10. Ohio Northern has it at their own 29-yard line. Will Freed looking, steps up, goes down. Parker Hoffler out of Charlotte, North Carolina, coming up with a huge sack.
Well, now Ohio Northern has no choice. 3 minutes left to go in the game. On a play like that, they've got to call a timeout. You almost wonder how much of this, too, Adam, wasn't just that, BW has finally turned it around. You almost wonder, maybe safe to say, did Ohio Northern come out a little complacent in the second half?
That is a question that you have to think about.
We've seen a lot of deep throws from Freed trying to take shots at those over-the-top deflating passes. We haven't seen a lot from Christian Williams in the second half.
No, not at all.
That's where they're staple. That's where they were really successful in that first half, and they've gotten away from it.
We were talking about the pressure being put on by BW. That is the 3rd or 5th sack of the game. Freed looking to throw, pumps, is going to go long, has a receiver, and it goes incomplete. That pass was intended for Riley Brandstetter.
Again, I realize that Ohio Northern is running out of time, but I don't understand why they're taking 30 and 40-yard shots down the field so often when we saw those slant passes working for them. And it wasn't just for a 5-yard gain. Get your athletes the ball, get them in space.
Well, we haven't seen them try to throw to Williams out of the backfield. They've gone away from Logan Ray, who's made some big catches at 6'6".
Williams has had 7 carries in the second half.
Will Freed, 15 of 29 for just 143 yards.
4th and 15. Now they're in a tough spot.
They'll put one in motion. Heavy rush again. Penalty.
Yep.
Freed throws. Incomplete. They were looking for Logan Ray, and it might be a holding call.
No, I think it's a clip. Spence got pushed in the back as he was trying to wrap around.
So it'll be 1st down for BW nonetheless.
Yeah, they will call it holding instead.
That'll be declined.
That essentially ices the game.
And look where BW is going to have the football, at the Ohio Northern 24-yard line.
When we talk about trying to win the last game of the year, how about pitching a shutout in the second half of the last game of the year?
Talk about that momentum.
There's still 2:44 left in the game, so it's not over yet. But a 2-score game with 2:44 left, as long as Baldwin Wallace takes care of the football, it shouldn't be an issue.
I think we're going to have a heavy dose of Austin Smith.
Yeah, either Smith or Hudson. They might run a couple read options.
Smith is to the left of Hudson out of the shotgun. Play action. It is Hudson on the run, up the middle, holds on to the football, gets to the 21 after a 3-yard pickup. More importantly, the clock continues to roll. Ohio Northern still with 2 timeouts remaining, but they still need 2 scores.
Yeah, and I don't think they're in a spot where they can afford to burn those timeouts right now.
The way things have played out today, and you looked on paper, this is an upset for BW over Ohio Northern.
Oh, not even close.
So today
it's the biggest upset in the conference.
Second.
Well,
come on, let's.
All right, we'll give them their due. I guess when Mount Union loses, that probably qualifies as the biggest upset. But
this one would be.
In fairness, you're talking about a team that's won 1 game in conference against a very good Ohio Northern team. John Carroll was ranked top 15 in the country, so at least that was a game that featured 2 excellent teams. But you're right. Number 1 team in the country goes down, so that does qualify.
And a timeout is called by Ohio Northern with 1:51 remaining.
While we have that timeout, can we just relish for a second across the OAC that there is not a champion named Mount Union? For the first time and I'm not exaggerating, for the first time in the lifetimes of every player across the entire conference, someone other than Mount Union has won the OAC title. That is how impressive that machine has been in Alliance. Forget the national titles.
Right.
Those are obviously on a different level. But to win your conference every single year, it's so difficult to recruit. And to be able to say, you know what, yeah, you come to school here, it's Division III, so we're going to focus on what you do in the academic side of things and being the student along with the athlete. But still, if you're going to go play college football, you're out there to win. You're out there to compete. And to know for so long that, you know what, we're playing for second place, nobody wants to hear that. And these two teams haven't believed it. And finally, somebody put Mount Union, knocked them off the top.
I go back to 1989 in covering OAC football.
That was the last time John Carroll beat Mount Union, and they did it today. 2016. Unbelievable.
Here in Berea, Baldwin Wallace with a 31-21 lead. 21 unanswered second half points, and they give the ball to Smith. Smith is going to be about 2 yards shy as he gets to the 16-yard line, and Ohio Northern burns their final timeout. And this, when you look at impressive wins for today, that drive, that last drive for BW where they scored was a 97-yard drive. They started at their 3-yard line.
They just had, I don't know how else to say it, Adam. They didn't throw the towel in. This team finally believed.
And if you would have taken a look at that first half of action, the miscues, you know, the 3 and outs or the 4 and 5 plays and outs, you would have thought this team was done going into the half because Ohio Northern scored quickly just before the half.
BW was all but down and out going into the locker room. They came out with a renewed sense of purpose, saying, you know what, we're sick of getting our butts kicked every week. Ohio Northern probably came out a little complacent, feeling like they had dominated the first half, and the scoreboard reflected that, though maybe the play in the field did not. Baldwin Wallace has just flat out outplayed them, and the joy on the BW sideline, guys shaking hands and high-fiving. Look, it's not over. It's 4th and 2, and you'd think you'll probably see BW try to put this one on ice here. But with a 10-point lead and less than 2 minutes to go, you feel pretty good about your chances to close it out.
Well, Hudson and Smith. Hudson is the quarterback out of the gun. And a timeout will be called by BW. That is the first that they burned. They've got 2 remaining.
You know, that doesn't surprise me. You go out there and you line up, and if you like what you look or you like what you see, then maybe you take the chance. But if it doesn't line up the way you've drawn it up, maybe they'll bring their special teams unit out there and kick the field goal to try to make it 34-21.
Well, the Yellow Jackets with some big scores in this second half. And one of the big keys in the second half, besides Hudson and Austin Smith, has been Sapancic, the tight end.
He's played tremendous football. Wow, they're going to bring the regular offense back out there. So that was all about just trying to see what Ohio Northern showed defensively.
Also, you got to give credit to Mike Wagner. You forgot him. 4 catches for 110 yards with a touchdown.
Including that really big touchdown catch, you're right. That got the offense going in the second half.
So on 4th down and 2, Sapancic is in the slot to that right side. Will they throw to him? Quick little pass off the line of scrimmage.
Wagner and George both to the left.
Hudson with Smith to the left. Now they bring in Sapancic in motion. It'll be Hudson on a run. He gets it to the 10-yard line. Sapancic led the charge in that H-back position. And that's going to seal the game as the coaches next to us put down their headsets and they're going to head down to the field. Huge win for the Yellow Jackets. Much needed win. That snaps a 4-game losing streak. As the clock is down to 1:20. They'll go in victory formation.
So BW will finish the year with a 3-7 record. It's going to feel a whole lot better than a 2-8 mark. It seems like there's a huge difference between those couple, because you think, okay, we went 3-7, and there were a couple plays and a couple games here and there that cost us. 2-8 feels a little more deflating, but 3-7, obviously not what they wanted this season, but it's a whole heck of a lot better going into the offseason than they could have had.
And Ohio Northern will end the year at 5-5.
Which is incredible. I mean, Ohio Northern.
And these were two teams that were picked to finish in the upper half of the OAC earlier this season.
Ohio Northern lost to John Carroll and Mount Union. They got smoked by Heidelberg, kind of a letdown game after they lost inexplicably in week 1 to Utica. They hadn't lost any other games until today. Polar Bears had a great year, but this one belongs to the Jackets.
And for those seniors on the BW team, what a way to go out with an impressive 31-21 win with 21 unanswered second half points.
They set the tone for the rest of the offseason. John Snell shakes hands with the Ohio Northern coaching staff, who is well respected around the conference. Of course, Dean Paul, the head coach for Ohio Northern, is a Mount Union product. There's a lot of respect among these two schools. They've played tough games against each other over the years. Congratulations to Baldwin Wallace. It really has been a pleasure to watch these seniors this season, even though it's been a tough year. And they finished the year on a high note.
Well, Jake Hudson finishes 18 of 28 for 296 yards and 2 touchdowns. Smith, 21 carries for 71 yards. Wagner, 4 catches for 110 yards. Sapancic, 2 catches for 36 yards, one of them being an all-important touchdown in that second half.
Yeah, that was a great catch, and it really sparked the offense for sure.
Will Freed, 15 of 31 for 143 yards. Christian Williams, 21 carries, 170 yards and a touchdown. But he was really a non-factor in the second half.
It didn't do much. 7 carries. I mean, he finished the game with 170 yards, and you certainly like that, but I was just surprised to see Ohio Northern get away from what worked for them so well in the first half.
And that'll wrap things up for the 2016 season for Baldwin Wallace. They finished the year at 3-7, 2-7 in the OAC. Meanwhile, Ohio Northern at 5-5 and 5-4 in the OAC. For Brendan Gulick, I'm Adam Mendoza. BW with an impressive 31-21 win over Ohio Northern. Have a good night, everybody.